Surveillance is to collect personal intel, as in your personal communications, your personal calendar, your personal email, your personal photos, etc., etc., etc. And the only reason to collect that is to use it against you. It's not about the data. They have the data. It's about intimidating.
This letter that my mom got, this letter where somebody is pretending to be an ex-girlfriend of mine from 12 years ago, which required them to look up everywhere I've ever lived, cross-reference it with other people, find out who that person was, and then also find out where my parents are and where my parents live.
With the office in the form of harassment and threatening letters. I even had some guy show up at my house.
Somebody showed up to my mom's house, which was my mailing address that they had gotten from Tom Fessler, who had gotten this illegal copyright strike. And so somebody showed up to this house and was asking a bunch of questions about me and claimed that they were somebody who I'd gone to school with, who I didn't recall.
Someone in the community got a hold of where my daughter was working, looked up friends of hers that she was friends with on Facebook, contacted them, and was using a coworker to try to get information about me from my daughter.
He made, comments to the effect of that his life was going to end within a couple of days, right? And then he said that he was going to take down you and Tupa, before that happened. My life is going to end within a couple of days, and then I'm going to take down Tupa and Red first.
Lue did previously work at the Counterintelligence Field Activity, so I don't want to get involved in the drama there, but I do think that is something for people to, and especially a character like Lue, who is surrounded by a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
I do think, and all I'll say is I think more questions need to be asked in documents void about his time at CIFA in the early 2000s, the Counterintelligence Field Activity.
Oh, yeah.
I left the Department of Defense, ironically enough, to finish the very mission they gave me in the first place. I didn't ask for it. I'm not a UFO guy. I'm not a ufologist. I never have been and never will be.
Part of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence is now working to conglomerate all of these databases, and that the Counterintelligence Field Activity, CIFA, of the Department of Defense is working to ensure that the military gains access to all of these.
Showed that the agency spied on don't ask, don't tell protests and anti-war protests at several universities around the country. They also show the government monitored student emails and planted undercover agents on at least one protest.
The documents that they've released have shown that they have spied on student groups.
A defense contractor with ties to Cunningham's troubles has been sold. It's MZM Incorporated, sold yesterday to a private investment firm. The head of MZM, Michael Wade, bought Cunningham's Del Mar home for more than $1.7 million.
A recent raid and ongoing investigation into Representative Randy Duke Cunningham's deals with defense contractor.
Organizers say Cunningham's alleged misconduct with a defense contractor is grounds for immediate resignation.
He's also a longtime friend of Brent Wilkes, the defense contractor who allegedly bribed Cunningham with money and reportedly with prostitutes as well.
I will continue to cooperate with the government's ongoing investigation to the best of my ability. In my life, I have had great joy and great sorrow, and now I know great shame.
I left the Department of Defense, ironically enough, to finish the very mission they gave me in the first place. I didn't ask for it. I'm not a UFO guy. I'm not a ufologist. I never have been. I never will be. I'm a counterterrorism and counterespionage guy. I do counterintelligence, counterinsurgencies. That's what I do. And it just so happens that in 2008, I was asked to apply those same skill sets into the UFO community.
Okay, can you hear me, Tupa?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. And audience, let us know if you could hear us. And I played that for you earlier in the space. Pretty wild, the CIFA stuff.
Absolutely epic.
It's crazy, dude. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse. What's up, chat? We're kind of running on a tight ship today. I'm probably going to have to wait till after because we don't have Tupa forever. And the CIFA stuff's at the end. And it kind of went a little crazy maybe, but we'll see.
Well, let's go until my computer shuts down or something crazy. Let's see what we can do. Thank you for putting this together, man. That intro was incredible.
Yeah, a lot of work, a lot of time getting testimonies, putting shit together. Feel free to hit the super chat. Those are turned on. You know what I mean? A lot of information going to be shared here today. This is just preliminary too, by the way. I was always felt like I was missing a part for my to do Lue Elizondo part 2, and I was like, maybe Stratton's book will help illuminate it. But this definitely now this is going to be the Lue Elizondo part 2. We're just early getting into this CIFA stuff. A lot still to be learned, and the Gangstalking stuff me and Tube have been covering quite in depthly. Hey Ocean says, should I go to YouTube? I say yes. Go to YouTube. Help the algo over there if you can. And you know what? Fuck it. Well, let's shout out some of the chat. We could go till Tupa's things. Just give me the out, bro. I'll take it. Let's put some music. Dance pop, low key. All right, real quick. We got Smig Bush, wild caption. I love it. These are wild times, bro. Dusty Bunny, sweet, perfect time for a stream. Hell yeah. Visk, wait, what now? Yep. Montezuma, oh shit. Blue Jasmine, hello, party people. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Hell yeah. Michael Yeager. So this is going to be about Havana syndrome, VTK, and electronic harassment. I firmly believe this is part of the phenomena or connected in some way. There is some Havana that comes up in this, yes. A lovely mod, Stone Deep. Glad to see you streaming more again. Hell yeah, we're going to try and go super activated mode. Fuck it. That's a bad kitty. Let's effing go. Hell yeah. Christian Serrano, yo. Derek Dougherty, heat packing koala. We're going to cover that a little bit too. Tracy Scott, love to all. Share on all your platforms. Bring people in for the hottest pod that's going to open so many eyes. Yes. Stone says, stay strapped. Have to. TJ's here. What's up, Pandy? He says, hell yeah. Albert Hoffman, share the space. Solo reposted the stream. Nice intro, guys. Thank you, guys. Yep. All right. So let's get into it. And I'm still going to be making it as we're watching shit. So we're just going to cover some stuff first. I think I have let's see. So it's kind of a rough outline. All right. So CIFA Black Pill stream. Okay. So we're going to cover some of these weird IRL. So this is kind of like a part 2 of the last week, where last week we kind of focused on phenomenon related stuff. This one's a lot more of like the person, or although it could be phenomenon, who the hell knows, stuff that goes on. And then just kind of ties in perfectly to, well, it's not even my fault too. A lot of this stuff deals with Lue Elizondo. Like the people on the top row here, like their story somehow mentions or revolves around, or they were in business with Lue Elizondo, and then this weirdo stuff happens. Like even Matt Ford, right? Like he's still kind of in that camp, but still. Then we're going to look at the CIFA stuff. As you can see, some of the slides are even just going to be this stuff that still needs to be fitted in. But yeah. Okay, let me see. What do we have next? Oh yeah, so even first we got this even classic weirdo stuff like this, just to be like basically, okay. So big picture, the CIFA stuff, they were basically like gang-stalking anti-Iraq war people, and Lue Elizondo was kind of part of this. And this, like I said, this is always the missing link in Lue's years. It's not on his website, it's not in his book. These years, he's very vague about it. And mind you, this is exactly right before he came to the UFO community, which I might actually play that real quick too, because let's think about that. This classic quote, and I got the longer version up here, so you can see the Lue Elizondo Show, episode 562. Okay, here we go.
Go get a hobby and then come back, because this is a process, and I know people are chomping at the bit to know the answers, but this isn't a matter of instant gratification. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. We got to go back 70 years, maybe more. We got to start working with our allies. And the worst thing we can do right now is put out some half-baked truths. And then it turns out later on that we were wrong, right? So we really have to do our due diligence. This is not fun and games. And also we have to remember, I know people want their pound of flesh. I know there's people saying, I've been doing this for 25 years and I'm tired of government lying to me and damn it, we need to prosecute people. Look, I get it, but slow down for a minute. What's more important, putting people behind bars and putting them on the stand, or the truth? Yeah. And yes, look, I want my pound of flesh. I mean, I spent 4 years with people attacking me constantly and saying all sorts of horrible things. There's a reason why I live in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, right? But if we want...
Tuba, isn't it crazy how much he equates the truth with like amnesty?
Yeah. You know what?
Like my brain doesn't go there.
I'm noticing DJ calling all beings up there, nodding his head yes, and like laughing along with Lue. You know what I mean? Very interesting. DJ used to call me unsolicited and try to get me to not talk to Lue reviews. So there's like a weird the platforming of this dude is starting to make more sense while he's out here spilling the beans, basically. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, it is weird how he equates the truth to amnesty.
Sounds like someone who's got some sins, brother. Real
Uh-huh.
quick, got Matt Don, €5. Thank you, sir. Hell yeah. We're gonna continue along. Boom.
If I want the American people to know what I know, it's more important that we get to the truth than me being vindicated. And I can't tell how many times this week people said, "Lo, you've been vindicated." Even media says, "Oh, it must feel great. You're now vindicated." It's not about vindication, folks. It's about truth. It's about disclosure. It's about transparency. And if it means that I don't get my day in the spotlight, then that's okay, because it's not about that. It never was about that. I didn't leave the Department of Defense because I wanted my day in the spotlight. I left the Department of Defense, ironically enough, to finish the very mission they gave me in the first place. I didn't ask for it. I'm not a UFO guy, not a ufologist. I never have been, I never will be. I'm a counterterrorism and counterespionage guy. I do counterintelligence, counterinsurgencies. That's what I do. And it just so happens that in 2008, I was asked to apply those same skill sets into the UFO community. But I'm not a UFO guy.
Okay, we're going to read a little bit more after that, but I just want to highlight. So this CIFA stuff, like I said, it's the missing link. It's what he was doing right before. We don't have the direct years. And to be clear, I guess, and we'll just have to say it like this. There's somebody named Lue Elizondo that UAP Gerb says is the same Lue, and Stephen Greenstreet says is the same Lue, but I guess to be totally safe. Oh, and when you look at Lue's books, even though he's vague about it, he alludes to having 2 offices, and during that time, in 2 cities, both of which were their CIFA places to work. So yeah, fun.
And so for me, it's all about the truth. Whether I'm hunting a terrorist or a spy or a UFO, the bottom line is the truth is the truth. And that's what's motivating me. And I hope that's what's motivating other people. So we can hopefully one day maybe offer some sort of amnesty, maybe rather than persecuting people for keeping the truth and hiding the truth for this many years, rather than hold a fist. How about let's hold out a hand? Maybe we need to take a different approach and say, look, you know what? No more are your non-disclosure agreements going to hold you to anything for the next year and a half. You have amnesty. If you come and you talk to us and you tell us what you know and help us learn from some of the lessons learned from before, then you know what? Nothing bad's going to happen. We're not going to come after you. You're not going to lose your clearance. In fact, you're going to keep your job. And in fact, we're going to call you a hero. How about that?
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that.
You definitely don't need a Nuremberg trial because nobody will say anything. And
funny enough, his friend, serial harasser, which we're going to cover a little bit later too, uplifting tweets, who has calmed down and we celebrate growth, but definitely was doing weirdo, crazy, psycho shit.
Well, he was reactivated after the Burleson space.
Oh, has he been now? Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. He made hero posters of Lue, right? So he's got this whole plan, this vision, amnesty for the hero. And then he literally has like a greasy guy make that. You know what I mean? IRL.
So people don't know, like, uplifting tweets literally made posters of Lue Elizondo with the word hero in English and Spanish, and had people parade those around a fake protest outside of Chuck Schumer's.
Humanity is entering its ET mode.
UFO believers held a rally outside Senator Chuck Schumer's office in New York City.
Bro, that's the dude. That's the dude who's in your space. Like, I need to talk to Burleson. They're all getting psyop,
for his legislative efforts pushing for alien truth.
We come right before the office of Senator Schumer to express our appreciation.
That's perfect stuff for you to riff on.
Propaganda. This is the most propaganda thing I've ever seen. Okay, like this is 101. If I wanted,
they show us footage on CNN of ex foreign country, and they all got like matching shirts that in English say like freedom. You know what I mean?
This
and they
is
don't speak
USAID. This is USAID written all over it, dude. Like a fake protest with custom-made posters. He says we're just here to show gratitude to Chuck Schumer, who's a fucking. I mean, Chuck Schumer's done nothing. They tried to turn Chuck Schumer into a hero. And you know what's happening? You know what I think might be clicking now that not to get too off track, but with the interview again that we just watched with Calling All Beings, DJ, he was emphasizing amnesty. And I started to think like, what do you think? Did he get into the UFO topic? Is he trying to basically piggyback his amnesty, like a redemption for himself from some other thing by utilizing the UFO community?
So transparency here. I'm always bouncing around with like, what the hell is Lue doing, right? Like we got the photos. Like this week, we got a new fight on every day of the week. His little acolytes are going after Gary Nolan now. Carl Nell is spreading into the world in the back channels. What are some of the Grush he's at war with? Like it's like, what is he doing? Is he just bumbling along? Is he a Scientologist? Now I think after the CIFA stuff, my take is I think he's doing it on behalf of defense contractors, potentially, allegedly, maybe, potentially, not saying as fact, Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman, because there were those ties back then. And I think it's to launder this kind of influence and control campaign through psycho crazy UFO people. So then it's kind of like a win-win. You're getting what you want, and the people who are really doing it aren't really aware. And that's why he's always on about amnesty, and he's always on about fucking company A, company B. We got to make sure everything's good because he's working for that company. You know what I mean? That's my read. I could be wrong. Open to being wrong.
I think I don't know. I think right now I'm on board with that idea. Having seen this now in kind of a little bit more context, knowing how much propaganda is involved, he is laundering past crimes through ufology, and he's trying to. If you guys don't understand how weird that is, that's crazy. That's a bold claim, but we've watched this person, like you say, behave so weirdly. None of it worked if he was really a believer. None of it worked if he was some spy. But if he's trying to wash away the crimes of defense contractors from the CIFA days, from the Guantanamo Bay days, that whole thing makes sense now. That's maybe the only thing that could make sense. Wild. Using the UFO communities.
Doesn't this line in with what Anjali said a few months ago, that she was told, which we could probably play a little bit later, or maybe even we'll play it next. But there's a lot of stuff, so I moved it around a little bit, so we're fluid here. This kind of ties into the next one. So this guy, right, who made this thing, who bless his heart, he seems to be behaving better. This is Keemstar. I'll let the Keemstar clip play, then I'll let Tupa, because Tupa breaks it down real good. Basically, he got busted using bot followers. That's kind of the premise you need to know for this clip, but then Tupa will go into more detail. And Keemstar, who me and Tupa were like doing Skyfire News with there for a bit. He's been on the internet for a long time. He has a lot of internet contacts. When this happened, he was like, "Oh, we got him. We got the hate group. Like, I'm gonna call my connect. We're gonna make sure that he's off for good. Like, you can't buy bot followers." And then I guess we'll play the clip, and then I'll set up the rest of what happened.
Also, the other thing I want to talk about is uplifting tweets. I'm not really sure if that is a person that's like identified as a person in this hate group, but I have been on Twitter since forever. I've been in this entertainment space forever. And anybody that's admitted to botting accounts on any social media platform, let alone Twitter, would be permanently banned forever. And the fact that his account was unbanned is very, very suspicious. Might be the biggest red flag I've ever seen on all of the internet. And I've covered stories in every section of the internet for the last decade, and that is like so mind-blowing to me, especially since it's not like a celebrity that came back. It's a $5,000 follower account that came back after admitting to botting. Like, that is like the biggest. I'm sorry, this is so astronomically out of the norm that I don't know why they would ever do that, but that's something that's definitely going to be investigated.
Tupa, for the audience, set up how shocked he was when he told us this first, because he's even,
I want to also provide a little context here. This is one of my favorite kind of mind fucks of this of the saga, right? There's a very popular Spaces host, right, who was very normal, wasn't doing anything weird, wasn't doing anything salacious, wasn't calling people out. He was just, he's a passionate guy, and people liked him, and he held very specific spaces about the topic, and his audience was growing. Eventually, he ended up critiquing Elizondo and Corbell in a space, and at which time he noticed afterwards that an account was popping up pretending to be him. He had a very, mundane account name with a series of numbers after it. And this account had his photo and was just a number off, like a digit off. So it was meant to look like him. And he was like, he made an announcement. He's like, who is this? He started posting like, who's trying to impersonate me? Who's trying to defame me? Because this account was going around doing some weird stuff. And it was a parody account, if you could call it that, but it wasn't listed that way. It was literally meant to smear him and make people's opinions about a real person change based on the behavior of this person they thought might be him. So this account was like calling attention to it and did some investigation and said, I know who it is. It's Elizondo, Corbell, Uplifting Tweets, and King Milkfart. He said it. When he said that, Uplifting Tweets comes out and goes, actually, it was just me. It was only me. I bought the bots and I have the receipts for them. And he shared, which you can see in the screenshot right here, he shared the order of where he bought the bots from and the amount it cost. And when he did that, everyone reported this dude. Everyone did. And so, boom, in a day, his account's permanently suspended. Of course it is, right? Of course it is. And this is where the story gets very interesting. Keemstar already laid it out, but when we found out he was back on, it was a big thing. The whole group that this guy's a part of was celebrating this. And a slap in the face, Jeremy Corbell was also celebrating this. Corbell had a segment on Weaponized welcoming back to the community this serial harasser and abuser. Okay, screenshots were showed or shared that revealed this guy uplifting tweets in the effort to get these bots and to do this. They were trying to push this man they were harassing over the edge. That's their language. Want to push him over the edge. He was, by the way, the victim of this harassment and the guy trying to call attention to it was going under the knife for brain surgery to deal with a tumor he'd been dealing with for probably 8 years at this point. And he was terrified he wasn't going to make it. And he was like making arrangements and calling me to tell me what the story was behind all this stuff. So his account suspended, and rightfully so.
Because Keemstar had already called his connect at that point too, and was like,
"Oh yeah,
handled it." He's like, "I solved the hate group." Like,
dude.
boom, boom. I'm that dude. Like, he was riding high.
Yes. So Red and I have to call Keemstar. We're like, "Dude, he got his account back," and Keemstar was like, "What? No fucking way! What?" And then and then he fucking he hung up and called his dude, and then came back and was like, "I am shook. I am shook."
He actually sounded shook. He's always in his like.
He said, "You guys are right. Okay, fuck it. You guys are right. I gotta say," which is not something he likes to do, bro. He was, "You guys are right." We were like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I called my guy, and he said and told him what's happening here, and he said that it was above him." And he goes, "The only thing that could be like that is like basically like the FBI, some government shit, like something is." Way
We've gone to this guy for years on every little like dumb Jake Paul thing or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, since Twitter's inception,
always come through. He's like, yeah,
he's been famous since YouTube was basically out. So he's been dealing with these connections. He's forever. He's like a staple, like him or hate him. You know what I mean? And of course, his influence has waned in recent years, as anyone would. But I mean, he's still in the mix and he knows a lot of people. So for him to be absolutely kind of terrified, like. He realized, and what's interesting is it was kind of, after this, his whole attitude about the whole thing shifted because he didn't believe when Red and I were saying, no, this might be connected to government stuff. They were like, he's like, no, these are just a bunch of trolls. Uplifting tweets just a troll. These guys are just trolls. Suddenly this troll, right, is getting over the executive's head's treatment, is getting bypassed, you know what I mean? Getting his account back and then find out that he's going on vacation. That's the photo right next to Keemstar that you can see. That's Lue Elizondo and this guy who got his account back going to Busch Gardens with their families, just going to Busch Gardens and celebrating whatever the hell they were celebrating.
Public photo posted by public figure Lue Elizondo, so you can't claim this one.
Yeah,
but is it normal to be hanging out with Lue Elizondo? Have like Keemstar have this like weird revelation, like how the fuck did he get his account? Also, to be making these weird CIA fucking hero posters,
propaganda.
Is this a normal combination of
no
characteristics for a person?
No, this is a contractor. It tells me that it's a contractor. Who else is out there making propaganda for like these UFO agendas, for these protests?
You want me to play it? I can play it. I got it right here. Let's see. You want this?
Again, there was this dude, fettuccine split, or AKA uplifting tweets. And this guy just had some hilarious memes. So I was thinking maybe, Michael, can you show us some of these memes? Okay, so there we go. So remember that UFO debunkers beware, the one where it's me, you, Joe Rogan, a bunch of people in Predator, the movie.
Yeah, that's right.
All saying UFO debunkers beware. It was so funny. We had some from movies. Do you
Pulp Fiction? Yeah, Pulp Fiction. That's a good one.
So look at that one. Hold on, pause for a second. So tell me about that.
Corso. Colonel Phil Corey back in. That's a good one. MIB.
Men in Black. I like this one.
I do love how much Jeremy Curl. Like, this is cool.
Fravor.
I love this uplifting. More
Look at Fravor. Looking at the Tic Tac. That's a really nice. 2001 Space Odyssey.
With Rogan. Yeah.
With Rogan.
And a meme hot.
I love this one. This is like Karate Kid, right? Like, you're the sensei, Miss Miyagi, and you're teaching me how to like hold the orb because it's the year of the sphere. That was pretty good. This is like me having a panic attack because every time I go on the news, I'm like, aren't you hearing what we're saying? Like,
how does he get that from that image?
So those are some good memes throughout this year. I really do think that memes will change the world one day. And I'm glad that people engaged and made some fun. Look, this should be fun. You've always said to me, if this isn't fun, what are we doing? This should be fun. And I think online, it contributes to that fun to have people create, even derogatory memes. I think are pretty funny.
All that stuff comes with the territory. It should be fun. Some people take it incredibly seriously and personal. And, you have to try to resist that because we're in it for the long haul. This is not something that's going to be decided in a week.
Damn, I think
you have to have thick skin and you have to have a sense of humor.
Okay, well, anyways, and I do agree with that. And the memes that were shown were good. Those are all fucking kosher. But this guy's he's using AI to look us up, and I should pull up some of those. But I have a whole stream about it. I'll link it. When they went to Busch Gardens, we went in depth about what that dude does.
Well, the dude literally his account was banned, was suspended because he was buying bots to harass a cancer patient. And when his account gets back, instead of just kind of quietly welcoming
Oh yeah,
him
that
back,
was the thing I was going to say. I cut it wrong. That Corbell was like, they tried to keep my boy uplifting down, but they couldn't do it before that.
He's been down bad before.
Yeah, and again, just Keemstar, it's just a data point, another data point in our little adventure here.
Well, let's go over the data points real quick because I think some of this could be really nitpicky, but real quick bullet points. Okay, the guy literally creates propaganda for these dudes in really weird propaganda-esque protests that aren't even real.
That happened like IRL. Very strange.
Very fucking strange. He creates massive amounts of propaganda. He's the graphic designer, as far as I know, for Good Trouble Show, a mouthpiece for Elizondo, weaponized the mouthpiece for that whole crew, and then he gets his account suspended, but then reinstated, and a lifelong, basically, social media person can't figure out what's going on. It's above his connections pay grade. Very alarming. Red flags.
Senior person at Twitter.
Yes. So you can say, well, maybe he was just a good guy who was good at art, and they were just like talking to him. And I'll go over in 1 second why I think that's actually a rational idea. But then when you attach those last 2 points, right, to this one, he actually he knows Lue Elizondo in person. Their families are connected. Before the Busch Garden photo came out, we were told by an insider that he goes to Busch Gardens with Lue Elizondo every year. He's done it many times before. We didn't believe him. Busch Gardens so specific, so random. What a random claim. And then Lue Elizondo, a month or so later, posts a photo of it, verifying the intel we just got. Like, there's an established relationship between this government guy, this top tier dude, Lue, and this lowly troll online who just makes derogatory memes. And okay, those things they do not make sense together. When you add it all up, you're getting into like a different territory of like, oh, that's why I say contractor. Now, to be fair, Corbell approached me on Instagram one time, was like, I like your art, man. You should make art of me, Joe Rogan, Bob Lazar, and George Knapp. And I'll like totally send it to Joe Rogan and I'll buy a shirt. And I'm like, fuck yes, dude. This is the first time I ever got any kind of attention from any of these dudes, dude. So I did actually make some art, and he promoted it on his thing, right? Like, but he wanted me to put Joe Rogan on it. I didn't do that because that was pandering. But that could have established a kind of art relationship between me and Corbell that could have turned into what on paper Uplifting is doing for these guys. But I couldn't have got my account unsuspended. There's no way. And I've never met any of these people in person or in real life. I do not have an established relationship with Lue Elizondo. He doesn't know my family. Our families don't know each other. We don't go on vacations together. When you add all that up, it becomes very alarming. And I hope people are doing the math out there.
Yeah. All right. Now let's get into some more just kind of weirdness with the IRL stuff.
So I was open to this. Sam was open to this. And it's Lucy in the football every goddamn week. When am I headed out to Colorado? Oh, you're going to be met by a car and you're going to be blindfolded and you won't know where you are. Like blah, blah, blah. Okay. This week, next week, the week after. Oh, no, if something's come up on the hill, things getting crazy. We're going to be talking to some very big people. I can't talk to you right yet. So that's been.
So yeah, I'm going to play just the first part again too, just in case we get around a little copyright.
So I was open to this. Sam was open to this. And it's Lucy in the football every goddamn week. When am I headed out to Colorado? Oh, you're going to be met by a car and you're going to be blindfolded.
Going to be met by a car and going to be blindfolded. Now, we have insider info, which I've already covered in a previous stream. But our friend of the show, Arthur, whose lawyer made legal threats to, or Elizondo's lawyer made legal threats to him, posted this clip saying, like, Eric Weinstein's done with Lue Elizondo's shit. And Eric liked it. Now, he was tagged in it, so maybe he just likes stuff that he's tagged in. But, I mean, who do you think he's talking about here? If you had to guess.
Oh, he's definitely talking about the UAP disclosure bros, Corbell and Lue Elizondo. Any one of those men or combination of those men, they're involved in this. They were telling him that. I think the reason why is to keep these people from sniffing around.
Yeah, because that's kind of like another theme we'll see here, where there's elements of like getting people wrapped up and strung along, and 3 years we're still waiting for the blindfold. You know what I mean? This kind of like, it's kind of like what they do in Spaces, right? Where someone will come in and they'll just talk and talk and talk, and for you're like, what are you even saying? You've derailed the whole conversation. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a recurring theme. And I personally think he's talking about Lue Elizondo. Maybe he's not. I don't know who else it could be. But yeah, just even so, think about this: the concept of we're gonna have to blindfold you and take you somewhere. Like, to me, that just seems like a deceptive, manipulative kind of thing to be doing.
Absolutely. It's theater. It's meant to it gives mystique, it gives importance, right? Like, if you're someone like Lue, you go around to these people that are like pencil pushers and nerds, and you just start talking to them like you're about to, like you just walked out of Fallujah, and like, you know where the UFOs are, and they eat it up. They wear combat boots and military garb all the time when they're around these other people to give the impression that, that they have some military authority. They make these grand claims. We're going to have to blindfold you, bro. That's just the way it happens. Sorry. That's how we play ball. It's like, okay. And who called the attention to this behavior, which is why I think it was easy to see this as it was taking place, was Jeremy McGowan. Jeremy McGowan told his story about his dealings with Lue, the kinds of things him and Sean Cahill were trying to like spin up Jeremy on. It was very telling of like some bad salesmanship.
And again, it's like, I don't even have any. I go look at my channel, bro. I was a little loose shill there. It just every story like this, and that we're gonna keep seeing, always involves this dude, like stringing someone along. Then they have some weird interaction with something, and now they're, you know what I mean? There's every time it's always around this dude. Maybe someone's opping people around Lue. Maybe the Russians are doing it.
No way, dude. But what I think could be happening if we're talking about opping people around someone, I think there could have been, and I haven't looked into this, but what do you think? Could Lue have been targeting people who were around Joe Rogan? Could he have been trying to like create, you know what I mean?
100%.
Very interesting.
Because we'll hear that with Ali. First time we met Ali, he's like, "Oh, you did an event with Jeff Bezos 2.5 years ago." It's like, what? How do you know that about me? Okay, let's see what we got next.
Did the strong feelings on either sides of the issue come home in a personal way?
So again, now I'm not trying to put all this on Lue, right? And I'm not, to be clear, I'm not. But this is a little anecdote I wanted to add in before we get into this little IRL stuff. when the whole Kelly Chase flip, peace be upon her, the queen, when she did her little flip and was like, actually, I haven't been comfortable to say this for the past few years. Lose whatever word she used to just say what we've been saying. Somebody who interviewed Lue came into a space sounding like super scared and like afraid, and we're like, what the hell is going on here? And I talked to this person later in the back channel. They'd interviewed Lue. They were really worried about Kelly because I guess they were all freaking out. Mind you, like within 24 hours, a Biden Podesta staffer was accusing.
They were worried about who?
About Kelly Chase. They were like,
oh, okay.
They're so pissed over here. I'm worried for her safety. And then this person confided in me, like literally while crying, that they know for a fact Lue can have anyone in any state within 24 hours just to do like weird shit. And I was like, whoa, that's a very specific thing. And I was like, are you sure? They're like, no, I know this for a fact. And at the time I was like, I was already down to like, this could all be Scientology type stuff. So I was like, yeah, for sure. But even after the CIFA stuff, it's more. So we're going to do some of these IRL house things.
Okay, hold on.
Go for it.
I'm trying to connect the dots of everything you just said. We were 2 seconds in that clip,
Sorry.
And then we're talking about Ali, and now like the connection to Kelly Chase. Like,
I'm sorry for the audience.
What's the timeline? You're like, why Kelly Chase? Why this clip? What are we talking about?
Just the concept of someone somewhere has the ability, I think, to put people, like, make them go to people's houses, right?
And you're saying that we're Tarantinoing this timeline right now. We're back and forth, but Kelly Chase was a well-known situation. Kelly Chase started to come out. She's a very popular podcaster from the rabbit hole, the UFO rabbit hole. She began to do the undoable, right? She started to criticize Lue and call him a liar, basically. And the whole thing was very weird. And even Bledsoe, she started to call out. That's why people were worried for her safety, because the things she was saying were pretty, this, began the collapse, the modern collapse. It changed the environment because someone mainstream who had denied this happening the entire time is now coming out and going, no, I've heard this and I've seen this and it's actually like this and people need to know that. And you know what I mean? Repeating Red and I's talking points. And then one of the things that this person who was concerned about Kelly Chase's safety told you, Red, is that they actually, one of the reasons everyone's so concerned is because Lue has said this, claimed this, that he can have people visited within 24 hours, no matter what state they're in or whatever.
Continental U.S., I think it was even used. So like specified, not Alaska.
The house calls, dude. In your intro, that's one of the things that should be very unnerving. People just showing up, and to have so many people claim it is, you can't deny it.
Who's connected to all of them? Oh, this one you can make a broad statement, but when we go through all of them, who's connected to all of them?
Oh, okay, let's get into it. This is crazy.
Were you ever subjected to harassment?
Absolutely. That came home a number of times, not only to me, but to other people associated with the office in the form of harassment and threatening letters. I even had some guys show up at my house. It makes it very difficult to do this job.
When you say a guy showed up at your house, what was that about?
That was early on, right, after I got announced, and the FBI did a great job of swinging into action, tracked this guy down. I was told, because I never had to confront him, that he was an emotionally disturbed person that had showed up on my property and had stayed.
Now, isn't that another common theme, Tupa? I mean, there's a lot of that, but I could just see, like, we live in a world where counterintelligence agent Lue Elizondo, trained in how to psychologically profile, has been busted repeatedly, whipping up mentally unstable people to do things, right? And this is what I talk about too, that laundering thing. But also people need to understand this is happening all the fucking time in a lot of other communities.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't this just like the governor kidnapping plot where at the end of it was like 8 feds and 1 real dude?
It's always 8 feds and 1 real dude, if not more feds. I mean, in more departments. It's very weird what they do.
Concept of a counterintel agent whipping up a mentally unstable person to do it, so that way it's not clear somebody with a Lockheed Martin logo shirt doing it. You know what I mean? Is not outside the realm of possibility.
Not at all. But also the idea of a mentally unstable person taking orders that are being subtly thrown out from these major accounts to hate this man because he's standing in the way of disclosure could absolutely trigger an unstable person to go and try to intimidate him. If you look at the post that follow a Matt Ford, he's a traitor post, you can see that a lot of the diehard supporters are, in fact, they appear unstable. They're doing unstable things. They're going, you know what I mean? They're dropping in on politicians like Happy Veterans Day. They're dropping in on those posts and being like, you're a traitor, resign, kill yourself. This is UFO, you're in the way of ufology. Very weird, intense stuff. And it's like, okay, yeah, maybe these people are volunteering their time to pop in, but that could only happen randomly. What you're presenting, what we're seeing, what we know happened is that this is kind of a pattern. The dice don't always.
What do we say? Patterns tell stories.
They appear to be telling stories right now too. This is wild.
Let me see if there's anything else in this clip.
There overnight and was just waiting, and unfortunately my wife came across him, so that was a bit unnerving, but they got him and arrested him.
And how is it for your staff?
This is a point of contention with the public and with Congress that I have refused all the way up to my last days to provide names of people working on my team and my staff to anyone outside of the department. And the reasons for that are safety and security and privacy, right? That has added fuel to the conspiracy fire. We got letters at the Pentagon all the time. We get emails all the time. And of course, in social media, I get beat up often.
Because there's a narrative out there that the Pentagon really has secret information that it's not revealing. Is that the principal complaint?
Yeah, it's that. And then they further then accuse me as being the spokesperson that's lying for the government and hiding all of this information and all the material. And the fact of the matter is, the research and the evidence and the data that we have uncovered is all been compiled into this historical report, volume 1, which I had finished up before.
All right, there we go. So Sean Kirk, I honestly, these people are so next level. I think they knew he wasn't there, and they did it the night he wasn't there to make it even more of a statement. You know what I mean? What do you think about that, Tupa?
I mean, could be.
If you're telling a motherfucker, I'll blindfold you and take you somewhere, or you know what I mean? It's just next level. You never know where these people can take it. Okay, let's see what's next here.
Somebody showed up to my mom's house.
All right. Do you want to set this one up, or I can? Just who's Manny? Right, that's a good idea.
Manny is a UFO researcher, and he made a documentary after hell, he deserved it, man. After the rollout of Elizondo as a public figure, Manny began to ask questions, and so did other people. But he was the first to kind of compile these questions into a documentary called Who's Lue? And I first became aware of Manny and the documentary through the clique that surrounded Elizondo online. They were like, oh, you support us, not them, right? And you would never let Manny use your content in his document. You would flag it, right? You should flag it if they ever talk about you, weird stuff like that. They hated this guy, and I was being told that this documentary, Who's Lue, was actually just a smear job, and that the documentarian attacked Lue's family, that it was mostly just attacks on his family. So I actually never watched it for a long time because I just oh, this guy's a jackass. And then suddenly you realize nope, something's going on. Why were, you know what I mean? So we obviously look into it. Turns out Manny's a perfectly fine person. He's, you know what I mean, totally normal. He just started to look into what was going on, and because of that, everyone attacked him. And when weird shit began to happen to him, no one listened because he was outcasted for criticizing dear leader Lue Elizondo. He could not be trusted. And so as he began to say, hey, this is happening, no one listened. Now we listen. Now in hindsight, it's oh, okay. And there's weird stuff too. So the public, or the at-home visit, I'll let it play. But I also want to talk about the sock puppet trying to silence Manny's girlfriend for being harassed.
Oh, I think it's in this clip too, by the way. So let's run
nice.
this real quick, and I'll pause it for sure when you get there.
Which was my mailing address that they had gotten from Tom Fessler. who had gotten this illegal copyright strike. And so somebody showed up to this house and was asking a bunch of questions about me and claimed that they were somebody who I'd gone to school with, who I didn't recall. And when I called them back to try to get a hold of them and figure out who they were just real sketchy, giving me a bunch of weird misinformation, using voice over IP telephones, like multiple different phone numbers to contact me back, like Signal and text now numbers and things like that. And then when I asked them, I was like, hey man, like, could you send me a photo of who you are? Cause I don't really remember you. They just said that they would do it as soon as they hung up the phone with me and then didn't.
This is giving me chills hearing this.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. And again, if you guys are going to call this drama, I literally could give less of a fuck about what you think about anything. Because, like, this shit is not normal. It's happening to real people. It's happening to the loved ones of people. Let's go to Manny real quick, because then we'll get to some of these other hands. Manny, I had brought up what you'd said, how there were strange people maybe going to your mother's house, which was the address that they got from the false DMCA, asking about you. Have you heard that Matt Ford story? And what do you think about what Homegirl had said? It seems like there's a few of these instances where, like, IRL stuff happens in a very strange way. What do you think about this?
Yeah, just to, first of all, thanks for having me up. I appreciate that. And for Allie, if you're listening, I'm sorry that happened to you. That's got to be terrifying to, get roofied or whatever. Like, I can only imagine how scary that must be. So my heart kind of goes out to you for that. As far as the what was going on with on my end, if people aren't aware of that, I'll just recap real quick. So shortly after I put out Who's Lue in early 2022, like January 2022, there was a lot of blowback, specifically from Tom Fessler and some of his producers and fans and stuff. And one of the things that Tom had done was filed a false copyright strike through YouTube to get the movie taken down. And in doing so, I had to give him my legal name and address so that he could sue me.
Closely with Lue. When Lue Elizondo got attacked by Area 503, I was the only person who stood up against Manny from Area 503. I even reached out to Lou Jimenez. He refused. I did copyright strikes, and then I worked with James Fox and others to get additional copyright strikes to get that shit taken down.
One of the things that Tom had done was filed a false copyright strike through YouTube to get the movie taken down. And in doing so, I had to give him my legal name and address so that he could sue me if he wanted to.
And also, sidebar, it was part of a 3-strike thing, right? It's part of a coordinating thing to get you completely banned up. Not just a sidebar, but yeah, right. Just showing the tactics that people use.
You're right. It was part of a coordinated crowd strike. He had gotten Lue Elizondo's agent, Dan Farah, to use his contacts with the History Channel to also file a copyright strike. And then Tom DeLonge's sister To the Stars Academy also filed a copyright.
Did you know that, Dupa, that was the trio that did it?
Dan Farah, Tom DeLonge's sister, and
Fessler.
And Fessler, but also James Fox.
Yeah, I didn't say these names, bro. The people who did the activity said those names.
Dan
you know what I mean?
Farah, James Fox, you guys should hit us up in the back channels.
That's the thing too. I don't think a lot of these people are even evil. They're probably just whipped up. Something's framed in a certain way. They don't realize that they're part, that all these other people are gonna do it on the same day too. And then now they're part of something they didn't even realize. I always give people that benefit of the doubt until
For sure. No, I was contacted by Fessler to throw copyright strikes on people. Back in the day, I was even given a mod.
Were you told like, do this now because we have these other two people who are going to do it at the same time and their channel is going to be completely gone?
I mean, I think maybe, I don't know. There was definitely the vibe of like, we're doing this, you should help. Like, don't let people use your shit. Like he's a real piece of shit. Yada 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 yada.
Yeah,
it was a blur back then.
Strike at the same time. So they. The three of them carried along. The three of them tried to get me kicked off of YouTube and permanently banned at the same time, which honestly was terrifying, but at the same time was extremely gratifying because it meant that I was onto something with my assumptions in the program. But long story short, after that, so within a week of that happening, Tom Fessler had begun doxing me on his show. He was going after my girlfriend.
Until Thomas Fessler obtained my name in a legal document, my name had never been on the internet. And now it's being spread everywhere. For your karma, Lou. Until Thomas Fessler obtained my name in a legal document, my name had never been on the internet.
All right, so this is actually maybe we'll go back just a little bit.
This is Manny's girlfriend.
Internet.
Yeah.
And now it's
Okay, I've talked on it real quick, and I'm going to make it a little bigger so people can see the full thread there.
Well, no, this is just what was set up. It's just that what the voice you guys are hearing, this is what Manny's girlfriend is saying. She was attacked and harassed. And the weird thing that we're seeing here, okay, this is what's odd, is that like she's talking about how she was attacked and harassed, and then there's like responses.
Yeah, so this is
Trevor Butler, dude.
This is Manny's non-UFO girlfriend. I think I didn't even clip it fully right. Oh yeah, see there she's tagging Team YouTube and saying this guy Thomas Fessler is doxing me after doing a false DMCA. Can you fix your policies here so that this doesn't happen, right? Trevor Butler says, I am a Thomas Fessler audience member, and where do you come up with these Looney Tune claims? Because she's saying sharing DMs doesn't surprise me since you had Thomas Fessler and his audience dox me for weeks. Mind you, she's not a part of the UFO community. She's not like a researcher in the mix. She's just dating someone who likes UFOs.
What she's saying is true. What she's saying is true. She really was doxxed on the show, and so you have these people coming in and gaslighting her. I am Thomas Fessler's audience member, and where do you come up with these loony claims? But it's true. They're not loony claims. It absolutely happened. And then Robot Mafia comes in. The person is nuts. Wouldn't give them the time of day. Carry on. Smiley face.
Yeah. Now,
Okay,
Robot
so-
Mafia is another one of these faceless bureaucrat accounts. Both Stephen Greenstreet and Manny 503 and John Greenwald say 100% this was Lue's account. So this is Lue Elizondo, a woman. The context is a woman is saying, hey, I'm being harassed online because your policy is YouTube. One of the other attack dogs is like, what are you talking about? And then Lue Elizondo with his own thing, instead of being like, hey, let's make sure this woman's okay. YouTube policies. He's like, no, she's crazy while it's happening.
Dude, Greenstreet, Greenwald, and Manny all say without a shadow of a doubt, Robot Mafia is one of Lue Elizondo's sock puppet accounts.
Yeah.
So so allegedly he pops into this thread and calls the person crazy, knowing that what she's saying is real, and she's trying to call attention to a very real danger. I'm being doxxed. They're doxing me.
And she's not even in the community, a part of it or anything. Just dating someone, mind you. Not even a...
Do you understand how sick you gotta be? How scared you gotta be of these policies being enforced against you, that you gotta come in on a sock puppet account and try to gaslight the victim, your own victim?
Oh, mine up there too. They got a classic Hey Ocean one where I don't know if they did or not, but they said they're going to call CPS on her and get her kid taken away because she's a heroin addict.
Classic move though on their part, right? Classic hate.
Lue on his personal friends.
Oh my God.
So yeah. All right, let's continue along.
Being spread everywhere. For your karma, Lue. Until Thomas Fessler obtained my name in a legal document, my name had never been on the internet. And now it's being spread everywhere. For your karma, Lue.
But long story short, after that, so within a week of that happening, Tom Fessler had begun doxing me on his show. He was going after my girlfriend, and somebody showed up to my mom's house, which was my mailing address that they had gotten from Tom Fessler, who had gotten this illegal copyright strike. And so somebody showed up to this house and was asking a bunch of questions about me and claimed that they were somebody who I'd gone to school with, who I didn't recall. And when I called them back to try to get a hold of them and figure out who they were just real sketchy, giving me a bunch of weird misinformation, using voice over IP telephones, like multiple different phone numbers to contact me back, like Signal and Text Now numbers and things like that. And then when I asked them, I was like, hey man, could you send me a photo of who you are? Because I don't really remember you. They just said that they would do it as soon as they hung up the phone with me, and then didn't. Never responded to me. They just ghosted me after that. So it's really weird, really weird.
Those are the type of people, the reasons why people never took this topic seriously to begin with. Because when you said UFO...
For context, this is Lue on the show when that documentary dropped on one of his shows, the one that doxed his girlfriend. And
so he's saying, when he's saying those are the kinds of people he's talking about, Manny. Right?
Manny, yeah.
Okay.
That's what you thought of. You thought of some dude in a basement at 35 years old sitting in his own. Just to the point. I appreciate it, guys. But remember, back to Rudyard Kipling, right? The strength of the wolf is a pack. I can only do what I'm doing because you guys are doing what you're doing, and your audience is doing what they're doing. So thank you for all. And this is a team effort. And I look to my shoulder right and left, and I see all of you. So thank you for being along, on this journey.
We just wanted you to know that the pack has your back too.
Oh yeah.
10-4, appreciate it, Rob, more than you know. It really.
They're sitting behind a keyboard anonymity
in their mom's
but
house.
Right.
Probably.
Somebody showed up to my mom's house, which was my mailing address that they had gotten from Tom Fessler, who had gotten this illegal copyright strike. And so
they're sitting behind a keyboard, anonymity
in their mom's
but
house.
Right.
Probably.
Are you
somebody
seeing
showed
this?
up to my mom's house, which was my mailing address that they had gotten from Tom Fessler, who had gotten this illegal copyright strike. And so
doesn't last
Okay.
forever with that, and they motivate some people, and Lou is
not me.
not going to take any action, but I dare say that there are people that will find the motivation on their own cognizance to bring him. So if you guys want to see more Lou interviews out there more often or at all, I suggest you guys take a position on this, be part of the solution, not part of the problem, and put some pressure on these people to get them to stop.
Dude,
I don't want to say much more because I don't want to incriminate myself.
This is a team effort, out. Black and white, dude. Black and white. If you guys want to see more Lou or any Lou at all, take a position on this.
I've never seen that happen, by the way. I don't know what the hell that was, bro.
That was
green
wild.
thing?
The green thing was crazy.
Dude, we're so done. We're done. Yeah, no, they clear as day on his burner account harassing the girl. Like, do you guys get how next level knowledge that is?
Yes, they get the information, then they weaponize it. Those snide comments of his mom's house, because they know.
I don't want to know any of the people on the panel who their significant other is, especially if they're not involved in the community.
Yep.
Let alone do I want to go out of my way to like harm them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Lou does that shit on the reg, bro. It's like.
And what Heatherly just said there too, which was kind of broken up, was like people will go, to extra measures to like protect Lou. It's very weird. We're dealing with some very weird stuff here, just like those glitches that were happening. Dear Lord.
All right, yeah. Okay, now we got the Ashton video.
Well, and she's been made full aware of what legal,
You want to set this up? I didn't even have time to like cut this down, so should we just let it ride? And if it,
Oh no, I'll set it up. Because it starts off like pretty,
it starts off like in the middle towards the end, and then it goes back.
So, Ashton Forbes has been a target of many groups for a long time, and he just absolutely has attracted the attention of these weirdos. Some of them online seem like very organized, and it's starting to look like it's even more organized than I thought. So their spaces with people like Darren, uplifting tweets, King Milkfart, the whole gang's there talking about how they have to remove Ashton from the MH370 narrative and how he was taking all of their research. They were planning on looking into it and being the voices of it, and Ashton Forbes was ruining those plans. So they had to figure out a way to remove him from the topic. This is in a recorded space, by the way, so I'm not just making that up. They literally said that. Following that spaces, all of a sudden he's getting attacked. Fake GoFundMes, fake claims, fake criminal record, all starts coming. The same tactics start getting used on someone that this group, which is the same people, have been targeting and using this whole time. So as the years have gone by, the attacks have gotten more complex and have led into this one scenario where Ashton's parents received a letter from someone claiming to be an ex of Ashton's from like 14 years ago. I don't even know what the letter says, but Ashton basically got out, his parents like, what's this? And he's like, oh my God, dude, it's he has no belief that it's really from this woman. He doesn't even remember barely. So he posted photos of the letter and a photo of the envelope and was like, you fucking, like, you trolls, like whoever's out there, like, you guys suck. And this group then took the photos of the letter and began a campaign saying that Ashton was doxing his ex-girlfriend. They began to say Ashton was really out here doxing women, attacking women, because he simply shared the envelope of the
of the troll's letter. Now, they had to have looked up all of this history on Ashton, which it's proven they did, because after Ashton claimed that that wasn't his girlfriend, they immediately had all of these photos of her and him ready to go. All of this is her name, this is her thing, blah, blah. And so they were the ones doxing her. That's what Ashton is insisting, which I think he's actually right. We have no proof that that return address is really of the ex-girlfriend's. And so they still continued to say that it was. Darren Reed, who we're about to hear right now, in a Spaces, reveals that, like, not only does he fully believe that Ashton is in the wrong, Ashton is the one who doxed this woman, completely disregarding the fact that the letter was fake and that he was it's making crazy claims, and it involves his parents. Whoever wrote that, whoever made that, had to know so much about Ashton's life. It's so weird. But Darren isn't concerned about that. Instead, Darren reveals that his ex-girlfriend is the real victim, and in fact, the victim of Ashton's.
Back. Here, let's let it run. I think I got it.
What legal repercussions can come from that? Like where she can go. His ex-girlfriend.
How do you know this?
Because he's a fucking snitch, and he's guilty.
Wait, no, everyone stop interrupting, Darren.
How do you know that?
Because I sent her a letter.
You motherfucker! What is going on?
Every time.
What did he send her a letter about? Who did he send a letter?
I sent her a letter to
Let's get Ashton in here.
to the address and let her know what her what she can do about being doxxed.
Did she respond to you?
Not
She
yet.
said, "How the fuck did you get my address?"
So the big worry is that
And
people are
the
going to
answer
start
is-
harassing her at her home and start messing with her at her home. We got Darren Reed here, who previously some of his greatest hits are trying to call CPS on Ocean to get her kid taken away.
I mean, I've told Ocean I don't agree with whatever the fuck happened. I've told her to her face, but it's not my fucking business. And he was like, "Let me call." I'm sure they all, like, Darren called the fucking Canadian.
That's our buddy Mike, who used to be one of these people activated by Lue Elizondo in the back channels, who went whistleblower and telling us about this. It's kind of a fever dream of a video, but
CPS on that chick. Do you think that was? I had nothing to do with that shit. That's all Darren, and he's like, "Fucking, I'm gonna rip this kid away from their mom." And you're like, "Wow,
Dude, only people
you guys
without
are crazy,
do that
dude."
shit.
Can you believe that shit? Oh, they're always about taking people away from their kids. King Milk.
Stonewalling for KMF, which he's done better of. He hasn't been doing that. We support the growth, but you sent her a letter. I feel like this is like a CPS situation all over again. You sent her a letter to the address. How did you know? How did you know that was really her address?
A letter, knowing, just in case she didn't know that her, address was published online by Ashton, and I let
Darren's
her
one of
know
these
what
online
the-
low shill
what
trolls.
she can legally do about it.
And Darren, just to be clear, you gave her the entire context of what happened, right?
Oh, he definitely did not.
Do you think this girl cares about
I
the
let her know. I
context,
let her
or
know where
does
she
just
could find
care
the
about
information.
her address?
I think we should care about whether.
No, we're asking Darren questions. I don't know if anyone interrupts. I'm dropping them. Tiba, re-ask it.
I forgot.
I forgot what I
just.
Fuck. Me too. But riff, and then I'm going to bounce around to this video because there's a lot of good stuff in here. But we'd have to.
Oh, dude, just a wild thing. I mean, literally.
Oh yeah, and then we asked.
Ashton's like information is researched, looked into, then manipulated and used. He has an intimidation letter sent to his parents, supposedly from his ex, who he hasn't talked to in 14 years. Right? He exposes the letter, and we haven't heard the clip it's yet. backed up. Like, these guys have basically out themselves as the person.
Yeah,
who
because
do
this is
it.
a running theme too, right? Well, we'll see a bunch. We saw it with Matt Ford. We're going to see it with the Allie Clark thing. There's like a setup and payoff that lets you know it's a fucking op.
Dude, it's
Because the letter he sent her was like, "Oh, Ashton's doxing you now." Right? Which is
Yes,
already this narrative.
yes,
It wasn't
but-
like
but that's
hey, FYI. And he even said, and here's legal things you could do about it.
Dude,
Like,
it-
here's how
I,
you could
I
sue-
think
how
it
you can
has
sue
two.
Ashton.
It has two purposes. It has two purposes. It has the purpose of continuing to bury Ashton, but also covering up their tracks. They're the ones who looked this stuff up. They're the ones who had her information. They're the ones who looked up Ashton's parents' address and sent a letter. Who sends letters? What are the chances that this is all started from a letter and then Darren sends an actual letter? What about a fucking email? Who sends a letter? How come there are 2 letters in this scenario and it's 2025? Who sends letters? It's crazy. His parents got a letter and then suddenly the girlfriend gets a letter. You got me messed up, bro. Like, there's no way. No one I know would send a letter, dude. You just would email somebody. And then you'd have the ability to show all the evidence and the links and everything. What's the letter, dude? This is, this
connect me from the case.
Clearly connected.
Yeah.
You're gonna love this too. The degrees of separation between CIFA, and I'm not gonna get into too much detail right now, but CIFA and Freescale semiconductors is like 1-0, like 1. So all the semiconductor engineers or whatever who died on MH370, whatever you think about the videos, are somehow connected to, bro. There's actually some dark stuff CIFA's connected to that I don't even want to talk about on stream, bro.
Dude, we need to
like
get
I have to
into
tell
the
you in the
CIFA
back
stuff.
channels that's like more like even Pizzagate, bro. Very sus. Yeah, we could probably move on for here because this one's like a fever dream of a one. Let's continue along. Point being, Ashton has been getting fucked with for a while. When he first came out, even they had this whole little plan to remove him from the narrative. That's what that part is. Oh yeah, this whole thing with Ross. I am with you. It feels like a setup right now. And same thing with Doty. I think the funny thing is Elizondo. Well, we'll get to it, but Elizondo, you'll get me. Elizondo whipped up Doty, and like Doty was like down to ride or die for him. But I think Elizondo was just whipping him up. So amidst all these like investigations, it's like that's the counter intel dude running amok, not me kind of situation. But anyways, let's continue. It's really inside baseball. Sorry guys, getting psyoped is not fun. And actually, a great transition because I think next is
He made,
I was offered a job in 20.
Okay. Chuba, do you want to set this one up or should I? What do you want to do? I only have 2 clips here. It's really short. I'm gonna have to do a longer one for people because there's like
this is an interview between Rick Doty and a podcast, I think from Australia. It was done live on TikTok, and he says this very interesting statement that no one's really heard before that gives credence to people's suspicions, but also sheds new light on some stuff. And it kind of went under the radar. No one really talked about it. But then when Red came aware of it, he reposted it, and then it kind of became a very serious issue. It led to a bunch of stuff. But I'm sure we should hear the clip before we go into what it led to.
Yeah.
2019 by the United States Space Force, where Lue Elizondo worked, to work with him in disinformation. And I said, not no, but hell no. I'll never do that again.
Did Lue bend the knee?
Worked for him. I don't know what he did. You'd have to ask Lue.
Okay.
So yeah, that clip, and this is something I've seen too. Danny Sheehan apparently got in a lot of trouble when he said this once, and they scrubbed that thing from the internet. I was able to find one like lone clip of it. But yeah, the TLDR is
what? You saying that Danny Sheehan said the same thing that
about not the disinfo part, but just that he had worked for Space Force. I guess this Space Force thing was supposed to be super low key, and I guess definitely this disinformation thing.
Whoa! And they scrubbed it. That should say everything, but that's why I didn't know that.
Remember Jay Stratton's wife mentioned it too on the Discord. Hey, you're not the only one who has their Discord mentioned.
Gotta love it. Shout out! Someone just posted it today. The JPEG is so broken. It's so old. And should repost it. It's all granulated now. It's crazy.
Oh, look at UFOs Around the World is right here. They're the ones who did the interview. Go shout them out. But basically,
yeah.
The TLDR is because of this. Richard Doty, who had been coming on Spaces for years, and we'd all kind of seen on Spaces for years, had fine repertoire with no issues. He got all activated, started saying I was AIing stuff. Then his little lackeys got all activated, accusing me and Tupa of working for Mossad.
Dude,
A lot of crazy stuff.
He didn't just say you were AIing stuff. He said that clip we just saw was created by AI. That's what that was the claim by all the loose shills, that clip was actually AI, that Red had done that. Red had made that. The man we're seeing right now, UFOs Around the World, both on the screen and in the chat, he had to come out and say, no, this was recorded live on TikTok. There's no way this was doctored. He had to stand by what, and then after that, after he came out and said that, it was undeniable. Then Doty's story changed. But these individuals that surround Lue didn't get the memo, and for a week they kept saying that it was AI. They were analyzing the video. Doty's mouth doesn't move like that. They were saying the weirdest stuff. Thomas Fessler, all Mike Disclosure. They were all over, still trying to cover for Lue. No one want. And then Then Red gets accused. We get accused of working for Mossad, of working for Greer. The story gets so whipped up by Doty and other people around Doty that no one's paying attention to the statement anymore. People are now paying attention to are Red and Tupa working for Stephen Greer. It was so weird, bro. That was a very
Basically
weird
culminated, and we'll do a stream, Tupa, where we go through the nitty gritty of it because a lot of interesting shit was said, a lot of interesting things were done, and it literally is like not many times Doty and Elizondo like collab.
Dude, you
And,
see Anjali's comment right now?
What'd you say?
She said, I heard Doty say that UAI generated the video, RPKC. He was saying it.
I'm telling you, this Space Force disinfo thing is really a hot topic for them. Basically culminated in me and my little sister having to be armed. I got a little sound bit of that. Let's see.
Comments to the effect of that his life was going to end.
So they're talking about Doty's little lackey, Eric, who I don't even hate, by the way, Eric, if you watch this, in Doty too. Like I said, I think Lou used both of you guys to just cause up some fog and like kind of obfuscate what he's doing. But I did get this message from a bunch of people. You did make my fucking little sister have to hold a gun. So fuck you.
Within a couple of days, right? And then he said that he was going to, he made, comments to the effect of that his life was going to end within a couple of days, right? And then he said that he was going to take down you and Tupa, before that happened. My life is going to end within a couple of days. And then I'm going to take down Tupa and Red first.
Time or something like that. The gist of what Buddy sent me was, hey man, just like not trying to freak you out, but I just got off the phone with Eric and I've never heard him like this. And he said, when he sees you, he's going to do jail time or something like that. Here's the clip from, I think, a day or two ago. Again, it's just been getting increasingly fucking weird and I just need to cover my bases. And I got fucking family here and shit like that. Like, we're both armed, by the way. There's a sheriff who lives nearby. I'm already in contact with. I'm going to send them this space. I'm going to send them all these fucking clips.
And luckily, he's chilled out.
Oh, yeah. No, what you had said that I think is worth noting, again, like, it's not just like shit talking. Like, he looked up how much jail time he would do if he committed this crime in my state. Like, isn't that kind of like next level, like, unhinged? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what was wild. And I was like, hey, man, nothing's worth it. Like, I didn't know he's going to get to that level or whatever. But then, I mean, he was gone. I didn't get to talk to him much more after that.
Yeah, he deleted his account.
Yeah, his account is gone. So I don't know what to say. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I've never heard Eric like that. I've known him for a few years now, and he's pretty upset about it. And I guess he'd already looked into like how much time he would get for it, and he doesn't have any offenses.
So like it's all like all fun and games, right? But like if you're really looking at this clip led to like, I think I did a good job of trying to diffuse the situation. But like, it's like what I said, right? It's like, let's just say Lou was working for fucking Lockheed. If he was to get a fucking psychopath UFO fan to murder me and Tupa and then kill themselves, like, is it crazy, Tupa, for me to be like, is this not like a low-key inadvertent fucking hit from Lou or some shit? You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I mean, we're looking into something pretty serious. The things we're seeing are pointing to one individual. He is clearly able to weaponize at-risk people. It doesn't sound like he gives a shit about people. We know that there's already one guy who was pushed over the edge engaging in this kind of activity who lost it, snapped, and killed his own father. This group tried to cover it up. It's a wild ride. And I think that it's not out of the question to think, what could they do to us for calling attention to it? And you were getting reasonable people calling you and giving you reasonable
people who
intel.
don't even like me were like, hey, I'm concerned, bro. Like,
Yeah,
he's sounding
about
unhinged.
that.
He's saying he's going to kill himself and kill you.
Yeah, like
And this
it
guy,
was
mind you,
later
he drives all
confirmed.
around the country already going to
Yeah, he's
conferences and
mobile.
shit. He's mobile.
Eric is known for being mobile. He's absolutely it's Eric the Adventurer, but he has a bunch of other account names. Again, he's since
And this is
laughed it
after like
off.
multiple increasing of the. This is after like probably a month and a half into this weirdo little saga that happened here. So
Yeah.
it's like it was constantly an increase, and then now we're like at this point where.
I want to go over real fast, if I can recap the increase. Okay. Doty says this on somebody's account that's not ours. The clip gets shared. Red finds it, clips it out. We talk about it. As soon as we talk about it, Doty comes out on the defense saying, hold on, that clip's not real. They AI'd that clip of me, and this isn't right. People then in the community started attacking Red and I for making it up and stirring up bullshit. The host has to come out and clear it up. Boom, boom, boom. We can find out it's all real. Doty then claims, sorry, I was talking about a clip that he could never produce. I'm talking about another clip. Eric then starts saying that the real reason why we were doing that was because Red and I were taking money from Mossad and also from Stephen Greer. That's the real reason.
And not just did he say that, he said he was on, yeah.
He tells people that he has proof. He's on phone calls. He has audio. If people saw what he saw, they would be mad at us and we'd be excommunicated from the community. He is not just going, I've heard. He is telling the world. He's telling the world through Spaces. These guys are absolutely 100% working for Stephen Greer. They're working for the government and blah, blah, and I'm going to expose them. He had multiple posts, multiple Spaces saying, I'm going to expose Tupin Red. This led to a community growing kind of movement of randoms coming in and making more dangerous claims, lying their asses off about stuff that later was found out that they were just kind of gassing it up, part of the noise making thing. But you tell me, if you're really on the UFO game and like, you know what I mean, all of a sudden you're getting information from Doty's friend that Tupa and Red are actually, you know, not just grifters, not just liars, not just people who disagree with Lue, but also working for the government, Mossad. Like this is that,
you know what was really disappointing about this space I held where I'm like, dude, I'm getting all these messages from people saying like he's headed to your house tonight to kill you.
Okay, so that leads to the escalation. It goes from these kind of claims, other people getting mad, to suddenly people are saying, well, Eric's actually super pissed. Eric's actually very upset. Eric's coming for you. Hey, dude, I just want to let you know I've never heard Eric talk like this before. Hey, man, you should be worried. That's how it escalated. It went from sharing a clip. Red did nothing. All of a sudden, he's got threats that people are coming to his house. Sicktanic at one point, a couple months before this, popped into a space. Sicktanic is another affiliate of Elizondo's, and tried to drop Red Panda's apartment complex name in a very sly, like, you don't want people to come out. The same person out of nowhere says he's working on a surveillance or a UFO hunting van, that they're going to go look for UFOs. And within weeks, he's in Portland, Oregon, trying to coax me out for a beer.
First van up didn't even get a proper one. But
okay, so I think you had the right to be worried there, but it really escalated from sharing.
Oh, it was even more disappointing was
you have to arm yourself, dude. That's crazy.
I was telling Doty the whole time, like, let's de-escalate your friend, dude. I don't have an issue. And even now, I still think Elizondo played both of them, and I still think they're both sitting on all these fuckers record each other. You know what I mean? They all recorded the back channels just in case. I just still believe that they'll be able to come through and actually drop some really good stuff to illuminate. Because I 100% think it's Lue telling them that we were working for Greer, because he's told other people about that in the past. But anyways, I was in the space saying that, and I was like, Doty, like, dude, can you please like have your boy calm down? Like, I'm getting multiple messages from multiple people saying that he's gonna kill himself and me and Tupa, right? Like he's on some fucking interstate crime spree, right? And Doty didn't say anything to me, but he blocked everyone in the space like while the space was happening. So to me, I was like, wow, Doty, you're kind of like low-key a piece of shit, bro. I literally have my little sister here armed. I'm just telling you, like, calm your dude down. And you kind of want to just, like, I was very diffusatory, too, in the space because I wasn't trying to flare anything. Like, all this shit is fucking annoying to deal with. We sound schizo even trying to explain it. And most people are like, it's just drama. But anyways, we'll get there. Yeah, so that's that. And definitely I want to do a longer stream because, like I said, Doty and Elizondo's past had never combined. And for it to be such a fucking crazy, like...
He made, comments to the effect of that his life was going to end within a couple of days. Right. And then he said that he was going to take down you and Tupa, before that happened. My life is going to end within a couple of days. And then I'm going to take down Tupa and Red first time or something like that.
I'm not trying to be fucking dramatic or like fucking main character narcissist shit. Is that not Lue Elizondo trying to fucking launder a hit on us via Richard Doty and Eric? Like that might not have been the intent from the get-go. You know what I mean? But when all's said and done, if that had happened, would that not have been what had happened? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, 100%.
Like, say he actually came down, shot me, and then shot himself.
Well, I don't think for the censorship, we probably shouldn't go into the hypotheticals of what could happen, right? But the fact is there that the arm of intimidation extended all the way through Doty and then this rando who we've been talking to for years. I've known Eric on Spaces for years. Suddenly for him to be like, I've seen evidence that they're working for the government. We were laughing our asses off. They kept, basically what happened is they said, oh shit, this is my interpretation. Oh shit, no one should know about this. This clip shouldn't even exist. Doty, you old fuck, you shouldn't have said it. Okay, let's erase it. Well, we can't erase it. Well, who's talking about it? Well, let's just defame them. Let's smear them. Then they just kept turning the temperature up. Okay, well, they're not shutting up. Well, let's just scare them. Okay, let's smear them even more. Let's say that they're working for Mossad. Let's say they're working for Stephen Greer. Right? We mock that. We laugh at that. We combat that.
Post their arrest records. Let's post all their financial records. Which all did happen.
Yeah. Let's accuse them of rugging like crypto. Let's accuse them of doing all this stuff. It all
your
happened.
website was taken down the same day this happened to me, where he was allegedly going to drive down to my house. They did a chaos thing, but real quick too, I think it, and this all ties in even more beautifully when it's, and thankfully nothing happened, no one's harmed. The energies over there seem to have died down. I think maybe people are realizing they were played, but I think it goes to show for the bigger picture, like the clip in question that caused this reaction, right? We've been fucking talking about shit people don't like for a long time. I never had my fucking little sister armed like that, you know? And
I remember still when my grandmother's address was shared, photos of her house were shared, and then someone in the community popped into the thread because they were saying like, I needed to be removed from the community. Someone pops in the thread and goes, oh, I walked by that house. I think I know right where that is. Dude, I had to drive over to my grandmother's house and make sure she had ammo for the gun she has.
Again, we just heard Kirkpatrick say someone went to his house when he wasn't there.
Dude, it's
someone went to Manny's house after he made a documentary about Lue Elizondo. You know, I mean, yeah, it is what it is, guys. Should we just play this one more time just because it pisses him off? Yeah.
I was offered a job in 2019 by the United States Space Force where Lue Elizondo worked, to work with him in disinformation. And I said, not no, but hell no. I'll never do that again.
Did Lue bend the knee?
Worked for him. I don't know what he did. You'd have to ask Lue.
Doty, tag that guy, tag Tulsi. I think you got played. Let's run with that. Come clean, brother. Don't let your, like, we were all, the funny thing is we were all cheering that clip, like, fuck yeah, Doty, fuck Lue. Like, I'm not going to do this. And then he does all this crazy disinfo in the wake of that. I think they're still good in you, Doty. All right, let's continue along.
Did you didn't happen to bring up the episode of Whistleblowers that has that? That's relevant.
Oh, do you want me to? I'm down. Let's do that real quick.
Dude.
What any other highlights from that time, Tupa, that was like, whoa, what the hell? I look for this real quick.
No, I mean, it was just, it was an amping up, and it happened so abruptly. And to have people who knew you, who've known us for years, suddenly say that they have recordings of me and Red and meetings with the CIA was really alarming. Like, that was like, oh, you guys can just do this. You guys just do this for fun. And, one of the craziest, most disturbing things is that after the fact, he literally laughed it off. Eric laughs it off like it was like, yeah, you guys are fuckers. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, well, you know how it is. That's literally how they play. I think for me, after the fact, when Eric came back around and was like, just fucking around, I really think that they're operating on a very old school method of information control that doesn't really work for modern social media, but worked really well for early social media. Like, there's something going on. He so readily admitted that it was just a joke. It was like, what, dude? And like thinking,
well,
like,
I don't know, dude. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but
well, no, I don't think it was a joke. I just think it was an op, like that. But he's presenting it like, I'll just laugh it off. But yeah, it was an op.
Geez, I'm sorry, brother Luna. I wish I could make it to the skiff. I'm just too sick.
Oh, it's okay, Lou. I just hope you start feeling better. You know, we need you for that skiff, buddy.
Kaushik me.
Okay, brother Luna. I'll let you know when I'm back in action. Whoa, what's going on? Oh, no, whoa, fucking shit.
Lou?
Whoa, fuck. Oh, I'm gonna need a Chardonnay after this. Fuck.
Oh, wait, is that even the right one?
No, the next one. The next one's the right one.
But I'm down and watching them. These are pretty fun. Let me just download this one so we could have it nice and inside the thing. Boom, boom. Dude, yeah, Kaushik meme, bro. You predicted the Luna.
Dude, yeah, the skiff flew, the feud, he randomly got transported to McMinnville. It all happened.
Well, there also is kind of a little bit of an actual like skiff flew, and I'm gonna do a stream on my backup channel, just going through the highlights of the Burleson thing once I'm done clipping it up. But yeah, it was drug. Anyways, we'll see you later.
Doty, you'll never guess where I'm at,
Lou.
buddy. Good to.
Lou.
Wait, what's going on?
Lou, remember when I spilled the beans about you running the disinfo for Space Force?
Yeah, that's fine, man. No one noticed it last time you said it. It's fine.
No, they're noticing now.
Oh, they noticed?
Yeah.
Well, they're not
It's
talking
good.
about it, are they?
They're talking about it, man. They're fucking talking about it.
Hey, listen, Doty. As long as Panda doesn't find out, we'll be okay, all right?
Well, that's the thing, Lou, okay? You're not gonna like this, okay? But Red Panda Koala knows, man.
Oh my God, no. No. Oh, whoa, what the fuck? Oh, fuck it. No, not again. Oh, no. No. Fucking fuck. Shit. What? Where am I? A camera? What the hell? Or, oh my God. I'm gonna need a Chardonnay.
LOL.
I think it's a good tagline for him to have.
Oh,
Oh
it
my
absolutely
God.
is.
Oh my Lord.
That is a great tagline for him to have. I'm gonna need another Chardonnay.
He's always getting in trouble for stuff he's done. Classic character. I really think he's a golden character for the sitcom. But yeah, that's the Doty Space Force situation.
In a short thing, but I am gonna do a longer one because it is worth fleshing out because that shit was wild, bro. All right, I'm gonna let this ride and go get some more drink, another rip, but because we already
When
saw this one,
journalists,
but, I think it is important people watch it when they watch the full thing through. So we kind of talked about this one already last week, so maybe I'll just let it ride, people. Or is there anything you want to say about it first? There's stuff actually worth noting, but all right, let it ride.
are threatened or intimidated, then that are journalists that are not knocks for the CIA or anyone else. They are clean, independent journalists. Yeah, I'll share a story with you, and I honestly don't remember if I've shared this publicly. But this is just an example of what I experienced. So it was, I think, in November of 2023, myself, Josh Boswell, and Christopher Sharp of the Liberation Times, we worked on a story for the Daily Mail regarding the Deep Legacy Crash Retrieval Program, and in particular, the CIA's Office of Global Access, which had been highly, highly secretive. You might find one reference to it on the internet at that time, but it was very, very locked down. And we spent months interviewing different sources, discussing specifically how DS&T and CIA Office of Global Access was heavily involved in the recovery of these vehicles of non-human origin. We were so careful about our communications. And we did not speak to a soul. We vetted our sources like you wouldn't believe. And the morning that came out, a friend of ours that had worked in worked in the government said to all of us that had written this story, look, when this comes out, this is going to anger a lot of people in the intelligence community. And from this point forward, even if you're in a hotel room by yourself, the names of your sources must never, ever, ever leave your lips again, because CIA and DOD, they are going to want to know how you found out what you found out. And we found out later, actually, that it was a firestorm in the CIA when we outed the Office of Global Access. So anyway, that the story goes live on the Daily Mail. I think it's 7 a.m. Pacific time. And I aired a pre-recorded interview that I shot where we basically interviewed ourselves, Josh, myself, and Christopher Sharp. That morning, I fly to Las Vegas to do to work on a project. And, so I land about 11 o'clock. So the story's only been live for just a few hours. And so I check into the hotel. I'm staying at the Waldorf Astoria on the Strip, 5-star hotel. I wasn't paying for it. And, there's no casino.
Still walking around a bit, but you want to riff on this for a second?
Yeah, I want to sum this up. I really don't like listening to Matt. We've already covered this extensively. I want to get into the CIFA stuff ASAP because it's like juicy, dude. But Matt Ford goes on to say that he went to a hotel in Vegas after this article came out, and after he was informed by some government guy, you guys can guess who that was, that he could be honey trapped or honey potted, and that he needs to be on guard. And sure. So he outs the Office of Global Access or something in some Daily Mail article no one reads. Good for him. He goes to this hotel and he says that a pretty lady sits next to him, and he's just too busy to to try to talk to her, right? But this other guy does start talking to her, and he starts talking about UFOs. So then Matt Ford goes, "Oh, real? Okay." So he pops up and goes, "Did you happen to read that article today?" Because he was going to gloat and one-up him in front of this pretty lady that I guess he didn't really care about. Okay, so suddenly he cares and he wants to one-up this dude, and so he's like, "Yeah, did you read about this article?" And the guy goes, "No, but I do know that Lue Elizondo's full of shit." And then Matt Ford goes like, "What?" And then he gets quiet again. Then he brings it up again later. He's like, "No, this is weird." Brings it up again. The guy goes, "No, I didn't find the article, but Lue Elizondo's full of shit." And he goes, "Oh, damn, dude, that sucks." So now he's a little spooked. He's like, okay, this is too coincidental. He gets in a signal chat with his homies, one of them probably being who, and he goes, listen, this is what's happening. Do you guys think I should be scared? Is this something? Are these guys trying to intimidate me? And the signal chat agrees, yes, that's what's happening. You are being honeypotted right now. So then Matt tries to spark up another thing with the guy again, apparently, and the guy brings up his phone, he says, and makes it like obvious that he's trying to record Matt. And then he said that was a really creepy story that happened. So if we take him at his word and believe that it really occurred, a couple things. The only people that knew that he was there were the people that was already in his signal chat. Those are the same people telling him to be on guard.
He also said he didn't pay for the hotel.
Didn't pay for the hotel. So you know what I mean? Like if this really happened, which why not believe him? Which although I will say the way he's using the way he's using those, I'm something about that. I'm not trusting these deets at all. I mean, just listen as he talks. Lots of lots of so maybe he's.
No, I think he's really shook up.
Okay, that's fair. So let's believe him. Let's say this.
The other thing is too, though, right? For me, the big takeaways, and go watch our last stream where we talked about it. There was the setup beforehand by the same person who knows where you're going to be, that you're going to get honeypotted, right? What are the odds of that happening, and then him getting honeypotted like that day?
And then him going to that same chat and be like, "Am I being honeypotted?" And them going, "Yes."
And then exactly, then there's the follow-up. There's the follow-up affirmation of the already set up idea, which we're going to see again. But and real quick, UFOs around the world, and there said, I finished off Doty, pass it on. They did the interview, heard around the world.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. No, pray for Matt Ford. We're gonna flip Matt. We're gonna flip everyone with the CIFA stuff, bro. It's gonna be like that Napoleon scene, bro. Yeah. Okay. I just want to go on to the next one.
In November.
Do you want to set this up? Who Ali? Like I said, I needed more time, bro, but we're just out here.
No, Ali Clark just recently came out, and this Ali Clark actually led to the outing of that photograph that was talked about on Joe Rogan that Lue Elizondo was passing around. Another blow to Elizondo's credibility came from these conversations. Ali Clark came out in Spaces. She ended up bringing on Ron James, who's a great guy, friend of the show, and they talk about a lot of very interesting things. One of them being that Elizondo, I forget how exactly they met, but Elizondo, after they were talking about stuff, suggested that she start was it an agency?
Yeah, a talent agency.
Marketing agency.
PR.
To run the PR for the Age of Disclosure film that is coming out. I guess never, right? So he's like, you should do that. You could run that, and then so she goes into like all of the effort to start an actual LLC marketing company, PR company to help him out with this thing, and then it was like basically never a thing. He just told her that, and she was like, hey, like, and then he ghosted her. Then eventually they met back up after the hearing, or the night before the hearing that Lue Elizondo was in.
Let's see. We'll fill in the gaps here. I think this is her just kind of telling it.
And in November, and I had met Congressman Burleson on the Oversight Committee, and I had been texting Burleson because Burleson allegedly didn't know anything really about the UAP topic. He said he didn't even know which questions to ask which witnesses. And so during the hearing, on being advised from Danny Sheehan and Ron James, I was texting Eric Burleson the questions to ask the witnesses during the hearing. And so after the hearing, I at the after party, there was it was hosted by a UAP disclosure fund. I brought Eric Burleson as my guest to the after party. And so when I approached Lue, I said, hey, I'm the one that brought Burleson to the party. Hope you didn't mind, whatever. And he like immediately was like, oh, wow, like it's so great to finally meet. Like I knew who he was, obviously, but it just felt weird. Like he was expecting me, like he knew more about me than he should. And then literally, like he said, you and I need to talk alone or whatever. And he's like, let me give you my personal cell phone number and let's touch base. And so literally within our like first conversation, he thought that I would be great because I had brought him the congressman, and Burleson ended up speaking at this event, and I thought it was just he knew about my influence, but he somehow had known about this event that I had hosted for Jeff Bezos and whatever. And he was like, I think you would be great to do PR on my upcoming documentary. He said it was a documentary, but it was going to premiere like a movie. And he suggested that I set up this LLC to work for him. He introduced me to his agent, Ollie Rowland.
Real quick, it's important that she said that too. She had hosted she's connected. We'll just leave it there. I have to do another stream about her too. All these ones I have to do like an individual stream about, but he had already known that she had hosted an event where Jeff Bezos was. So these guys are always like social ladder climbing, but still it's just, I don't know what exactly we're all looking at here. You know what I mean? In terms of like, what is this mechanism at play? But just, I think that's an important data point when like analyzing why people are behaving. Like, oh, that was on his radar.
Okay. Who's also Dolly Parton's agent. But long story short.
Did you say anything about Dan Farah during any of this?
I feel like there was something, but I don't remember because I was still learning all of the players at the time.
Well, allegedly there's some beef in the background. Dan Farah is like one of his agents, or maybe not his agent anymore, about rights to. That's apparently why Age of Disclosure is being all hung up right now, is because Lue and him are having some kind of legal battle. So
I know,
but if not, continue.
Also had given that he had also given interviews and rights to another documentary filmmaker. He may have talked about it in the space, and if so, you guys can bring up his name. But yeah.
Ron James?
And I don't know if Ron covered that, but
he covered up how Lue kind of stonewalled the release of one of his documentaries because they were kind of like he had filmed one of them at a MUFON event, and Lue was kind of somehow there was all this hoopla about
okay.
it getting
Well, Ron
out.
told me that what had happened was that Lue had already. Okay, so Lue had signed this agreement.
And for the room, this is MUFON. What's his title again?
PR
Communications director.
But he also was the director of the film Accidental Truth that was narrated by Matthew Modine. So Ron told me that he was going to do this documentary called the Lue Elizondo Files, and he had already had all of this sit down footage with Lue, some of which he's showed me and whatever. And then Lue ended up getting this deal or signing this contract with WME Management. And I guess probably to do the age of disclosure, but he ended up signing this contract with WME Management. Part of signing that contract was that Lue had to agree that that his story or likeness, whatever, was not owned or whatever by anyone else. So then Lue goes back to Ron and basically says, like, you can't, we can't go further with this, whatever, even though Lue had already signed the.
So another data point is an interesting. Age of disclosure is allegedly being held up by Lue too, right? Like all these media things that are like, it's either so bad or it's on purpose, bro.
Disclosure with Ron.
Yeah.
Ron just
like,
being a good guy and probably.
So like the nuance here of the alleys and Ron and stuff like.
He's about to get to the Meet Joe Black part too, just FYI.
Okay.
Go for it.
No, I was just this is it. Just I wonder if there's a way we can do the bullet points of this stuff. Allie is great, but she
I know. This is one I wanted to edit, trim down.
What was the experience from the dinner with Lue to the?
Yeah, because she just has she's long-winded in her delivery here.
I had known very well. I went into Old Ebbitt bar and I had told Lue that I was going to Old Ebbitt because Lue, after he left dinner, was going to be on Cuomo, and I told Lue that I was going to go to Old Ebbitt because Lue was going to call me if he got finished with Cuomo early and maybe we could meet back up. So I told him I was going to go to Old Ebbitt, and I go to Old Ebbitt, and as I'm getting ready to leave, there's like 2 bars in Old Ebbitt. I walk to the other bar to tell one of the bartenders I know goodbye, and I see a guy that I've been very close to. But I walk up to him and then I hear it's like his voice, so I know it's him. And when I approach him, he pretends to not know me, but he's very coy about it. And he starts showing me and I was like, what? I said, hey, I'm like, will you please step aside and let's go talk? And he's like, I don't know you, but he's just being very coy about it. And I'm like, really? I'm like, you're going to do this here? I was like, I just want to talk to you. And the guy sitting beside of him pulls up and he goes, if I showed you photos of him with the Senate Majority Leader, would you believe him or something? And I just freak out and end up leaving the bar because this was, like I said, this is someone that I was close to. This isn't like someone I had just saw in passing once or whatever. And so, I call Lue hysterical. I'm expecting Lue to be like, oh, maybe you need to get some sleep, whatever. And then Lue is very.
Well, hold up real quick. To the thing, wasn't there something about he was a younger version of the dude too?
It was like the guy that I knew, but it was like when I saw his face, it was like a 20, 30 year younger version of him. I'm literally I have a video of it. I don't want to share it because I'm so freaked out. I sound like a babbling idiot, but I'm literally in shock and I cry. I run out of the bar, and that's when I call Lue. I don't think Lue got back to me that night, but the next day, and I'm expecting Lue to tell me oh, you need to get some sleep, whatever. And I said, Lue, the guy that we talked about, I said, I ran into him at Old Ebbitt, and I was hysterical again, and I said, are we fucking cloning people? Are you guys cloning people?
Wait, hold on. You'd already talked about this specific person that you would later see with Lue Elizondo?
Yes.
Oh wait, I missed this part. So what was that conversation like?
I wanted to know because I felt, how I said I felt like Lue knew me before he met me, and I was basically begging Lue to tell me who this guy was, because I said, I know this guy, I've later heard that he's part of the MJ12 or whatever the hell they call it.
Allie, can I interject real quick? Did I recall the story? Didn't he say the gentleman in the bar that you thought was going to be the love of your life? You're going to marry him for the rest of your life? The younger version of the guy you saw? Is that
yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying.
So
It
that
wasn't a
guy is part of
casual
MJ12. Is
what?
that guy's part of MJ12?
That's what I've heard since. That's what has been speculated to me. I don't know that.
So how did his name come up with the conversation with Lue Elizondo? You dropped it with him.
That's what I had wanted to know from Lue. Was I thought that my connections to that guy is why Lue was going out on a limb and doing these things for me, and because Lue would just know things and be very coy about things. Like, I can't explain it, but it was just like I just felt that Lue knew this guy. He didn't deny it, and he would just sort of like try to gently nod me in the right direction. And I had talked to Lue about this at dinner, and I said, honestly, I said, yeah, I'm very interested. I care about the UAP disclosure thing, but I said, I'm just trying to figure out this guy and all the weird shit that has happened in my life. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out why you're in my life. Because I started to figure out Lue isn't close to that many people. Why did he just sort of take me in? And Lue was like, I'm gonna take care of you. I mean, it was just weird, and not in a romantic type of way. Lue was never hitting on me, but it was just like, why was he, like telling me, if you need, like, here's places to stay, here are bunkers, here are, he called me mama, and he's like, mama, like, I'll make sure you have a job, a place to live. And I'm like, why is he doing this for me? It just seemed odd. And
Wow, so I didn't even know that you guys had already talked about this, guys. So that's an interesting data point too. I'll let you finish your story, and then I've learned some stuff recently about Lue that just makes me go like, oh yeah, they're the ones who handled the gang stalking going on. But okay, so you see this guy, you tell Lue, you're expecting him to say that you're crazy, and then the next day, what does he tell you?
Lue says, well, the first he texts me, so I left him a message hysterical, and Lue was like, I think he said something like, I can't talk right now, is everything okay? And I texted him, I said, I saw the guy, and I knew he would know who I was talking about. I said, at Old Ebbet. And Lue says, well, that would be a hell of a coincidence, don't you think? ? I'm like, yeah, interestingly enough, isn't it? But then when he calls me and I'm telling him this, expecting him to like tell me I'm crazy, whatever, he says, you should go watch the movie Meet Joe Black.
Okay. That's why I think we could pause it for her. So if that was hard to follow, and I'm going to do probably a whole stream about her because her story's fascinating. She's definitely getting gang stalked right now in really weird ways. Lue Elizondo comes into her life, knows events she's planned in the past, wants her to start a company, wants information about this one dude, and then the night she has dinner with Lue Elizondo, she tells him, I'm going to be going to X bar. She goes to that bar, and then a younger version of that dude is there, and she's freaking out. She's like, what the hell is going on here? And instead of Lue Elizondo being like, oh, you're crazy, get some sleep, he's like, oh, what a crazy coincidence. You should watch the movie Meet Joe Black, which I've never seen. And Tupa, if you're around, maybe you could talk about that real quick. But
basically this human being dies and is reanimated by an angel, and is now being puppeted by an angel. An angel is living through Brad Pitt's character, and he's the angel of death, and he's there to ease an older man, which is like a CEO of some big huge company, some billionaire, to ease him into death. And the daughter falls in love with this man who she doesn't know is an angel, and it's played by Brad Pitt. So that's the name of the game there. The idea that angels can occupy the bodies of man.
So yeah, another one of these things where it's like there's a setup, kind of, and then there's just like after the fact validation. Like, yes, Matt Ford, you did just get honeypotted. Yes, Allie Clark, you did just see a clone version of this dude who I already knew about at the bar you were going to be at, that you'd already told me you were going to be at. And actually, here's this really weird movie to just. I feel like it's literally Doty stuff, like just making people go on endless goose chases and making people think they're crazy, right? Like unless maybe the movie is reality, right? And it's either that or that, right? Like either she did have a time traveling fucking situation happen and Lue's letting her know what's good, or they like set up this event and fed into it and are continuing to feed into it and gas it up, and it's happening so much, guys. These are just some of the more coherent and clear stories. But what do you think of that assessment, Tuba?
Yeah, I think that, she's a hard one to assess, but there's some weird stuff going on. Her interpretation of it is her interpretation of it, but it is just another weird data point. So many, you know what I mean? But I think with hers, it's almost good to separate the more nuanced ones with the more serious ones. Starting a company, right? Weird things happen after she went to the bar she told Lue about. The weird things he said afterwards, like those things are really in there. The idea of a time traveling man, that's where it's going to get a little lost in the sauce for me. And for
well, no, but that's the point though. Lue's feeding into that for her.
Yes,
which is crazy.
It's a bizarre thing. I don't understand. Yeah,
he either believes it or he's like fucking opping people in a really fucked up way.
Well, that's what I want to get into. Is like,
so
why?
Do you have to go? Because we could go to the CIFA stuff right now. Because there's still, although I do think it's good for the person to see it. The only two stories left are Anjali and Amy Eskridge.
Dude,
should we skip to CIFA and then I could do those two at the tail end when you're out?
I mean, yeah, I up to you. Up to you. I mean, if we can. There's a lot of nuance in these things, but getting to the CIFA thing is really important. We need to get there. You know what I mean? But let's talk about it. But Anjali and
Amy Eskridge, bro, and then we're done.
Amy's points are actually super important because it's like it. I think Amy said some of the most salacious things about Lue.
Yeah,
and how.
Let's do real quick. We'll do a skim of it. Let's see it.
But also, you know what I mean? Anjali's statement is nuts. So let's hear this, dude. This is wild.
Oh, look at, they're working in your favor, bro. Your psychic powers, they're not letting me. Let me see. Does the next one work?
You know, one of the weirdest things.
Oh, well, I guess we're just going to hear one on
You know, one of the weirdest things that has happened to me so far is that someone in the community got a hold of where my daughter was working, looked up friends of hers that she was friends with on Facebook, contacted them, and was using a coworker to try to get information about me from my daughter.
When was this?
Within the last let's see, probably the last 2, maybe 3 years.
Damn, dude. What about Anjali's statement about what she heard about Lue, dude?
Oh, that one too. Yeah, let me do this real quick too over here. And yeah, I'll flesh her thing out at a later date. But real quick, this one too, because this is kind of, I think I got it to work.
In November.
Wait, oh no, fuck. Nope. Okay, fuck it. They don't want to.
You know, one of the
we'll pull that up at the end because it'll be good when we go through all this stuff.
Yeah.
But hey,
Dude,
you're in this one, bro.
This is a crazy moment, dude. You know, since in that deal with
Do you want to set it up at all, or let her? I think people could.
Well, I just popped on a Jeremy Reese stream. You know, he's very gracious and generous with his time and with his streams. Lots of people pop on, and John Warner was on there, and also Mark Sokol. I had no idea that these guys knew who Amy Eskridge was. She had come up every once in a while. You know, every once in a while. You know, like I was hosting a space once when she passed away, and like Frank Milburn came in the space and was like really like crying. I did not understand what had happened. He's like, they killed her. Like it was so I didn't know who she was before this. So after she had passed away and her name came up, it was revealed that she had like been looking into some stuff, and some people knew her in the community. Now I knew that, but I didn't know who. And so I'm on this stream and we're talking about I think Havana syndrome and stuff like that, and then the conversation goes where it goes, but you can hear my reaction, like, what?
Yeah, and thank you, Stonape, for the super chat. And Derek Dougherty says Mark dated Amy, which is true. Mark, this guy up here, got alien scientist here. John Warner, friend of the show, which actually, even crazy enough, this ties into the CIFA stuff. I'm pretty sure it's his dad or uncle or whatever. His name comes up a lot in these documents. Very wild.
Happened, you know, since in that deal with brain, you know, with conscious, with that interaction. So are these things connected?
I could talk on Havana syndrome. I got hit by that once.
Really?
Yeah. Simultaneously, they hacked my phone and put a gun in my Amazon checkout thing, and it was.
Well, that's like a whole targeted individual thing. That's
yeah. It happened right here at the lab. We had a visiting scientist over who was
I don't even talk about half the stuff that's happened to me because it's like people accuse me of lying and making it up when I do. So I just ignore it and move on. So it's like,
and then they threatened to abduct my daughter and take her on a time machine. Oh, it was crazy shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they broke into my apartment, and stole all my computers. So.
The goal is to discourage you from doing the science. So like,
yeah, I have
for time. Mark Warner says he saw it too, but just for time, just confirmation from an outside source. Because Amy, there's videos of her saying like, "I'm getting Havana." Da, 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 da. These are two dudes who knew her. That one interview that everyone knows of. They're the ones talking to her, right? And I think, you know, Jeremy thinks she did kill herself, but it is interesting that they're here agreeing that like they were getting Havana during that time.
Well, I think people need to understand what Havana is. Like, that's one of the things about the Amy Eskridge thing that I don't hear a lot of people talk about is that the people who are crying foul play are not saying that she was. I don't think are saying that someone came up and shot her, and that she was the murder was staged to look like a suicide. Again, I don't even know how she died. Other than that, it was alleged, like, you know, the S word. So I wonder why people are not calling attention to the fact that Havana and these attacks are designed to make you feel crazy. They're designed to push you to the edge, to pump voices in your head, to feelings in your heart, to build images in your mind, to make you think terrible things, to make you do terrible things, to make your brain, your baseline disappear, dopamine dumps. You know what I mean? Like, these things are very serious, the things that they can activate remotely, and they talk about it. So when people go, "Oh, was Amy foul play?" When Jeremy goes, "No, it was just she was troubled, she was going through stuff." That's what it's supposed to happen. The weapons are designed to bring somebody to a point of psychosis, and they do whatever they do. So it's not, even if her death was deemed a legitimate, you know, self-inflicted thing, it still has to be considered that there's video after video after video leading up to that point where she was clearly getting it, like stating clearly, "I'm under attack," and she becomes more unstable, she becomes more agitated, and though that's a horrible thing to watch. And sure, you could say, okay, maybe psychosis, sure. But what we're pointing out here is that there's a direct connection between the individuals who are probably testing these weapons anyway, the existence of these weapons, and then now these individuals out here trying to silence people from talking about them and using these things. The Havana syndrome, you know, Red Panda and I didn't make up Havana syndrome. We didn't make that up. That's been brought to the national news because of the reality of it. We didn't make up the connection between Havana and experiencers. That was Gary Nolan. We're not out here conspiring and drawing connections like people think we are, trying to take advantage of someone's tragic death. This is a real thing. Like, these connections are super real. And, you know, people need to recognize, I think, in the debate of, oh, leave Amy alone, or this, you know, the fact is that if she was under these attacks, it would kind of appear the way it appears. It would do that exact thing. And it's designed to bring somebody to a breaking point if that's what they want to do. So people should be aware. And that's why people need to be more open about, if they see someone in a van with a bunch of weird technology aimed at them, that's, you know what I mean? You might want to call attention to that.
Oh, yeah.
And not discourage people from talking about it. Yeah, sorry, man. Go ahead.
So here's some clips, compilation from her big interview. Probably won't play the whole thing because it's kind of long, I think. I forgot, but let's see.
yeah, and Hal, you know who Hal really
Hal's a liar,
is?
though.
Hal is the doctor from Stranger Things who will torture little alien kids.
No, he is.
Get all the juice out of their brain. And
Hal is actually extremely evil.
Yes.
No, I've met the man. He's extremely evil. He's very quiet. He listens more than he talks. But you can tease things out of him, but it's only what he wants you to tease out of him. He's like a nice old grandpa. Like, you talk to him and he's like quiet and sweet and gentle, like a nice old grandpa. But he's evil as fuck. It's creepy. Lue is evil. Brandenburg is evil. Brandenburg is like super evil because he was like, I'm going to bring George Knapp and blah, 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 and we'll film. But Lue said the same thing. Lue was like, Lou was like, "Oh, we're filming the second season of the TTSA show on the History Channel, and we'll come do an episode about Huntsville. Like, I want to bring Tom DeLonge and Steve Justice and Hal and blah 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 people to your house." And he told me that the U.S. government would give me a shit ton of money to keep me from selling it to China. And so I called him and I'm like, "Can you refer me to an active U.S. Army general, please, to talk about this transaction?" And he was like, radio silence. Like, I asked him to refer me to active military, and that killed the conversation.
Isn't that interesting? Another Lue Elizondo stringing somebody along, like, financially kind of situation.
Yep. And then when called out, when like, hey,
Why
okay,
do
let's
that?
do it, and then nothing.
Got
It's
Ali make a
it's part
company.
of the salesmanship. It's part of the. He has like a script.
I think it's
like,
to get info too, but it's like, I think can we say that he has no intention of doing that with these people? Like, how many?
Of course
of these?
not, dude.
That's
Of
what I'm saying, which is
course.
so weird. And people need to ask themselves, like, why is this motherfucker stringing along so many different people in the back channels with the promises of money, promises of this, promises of that go nowhere?
Dude, that's as a contractor myself. Like, it's that's just what people who want to manipulate you will say. They'll say, let's say you want to get a job from somebody, right? You need something done, but you don't want to pay them what they're worth. So you'll say like, oh, there's probably like a lot more money. You'll basically hint that your relationship with them will lead to more money, or you explicitly say that. You just say it. And you're like, oh, this job is going to be a light paying job, but the next one's going to be crazy. If we get through this one, you know what I mean? It might be not glamorous, but if we get through this, we'll get to the next one. There's always that disarms people because it makes them think that you're invested in them. And a lot of people want money. And one of the things that I've noticed about reports of Lue and money is that he'll promise like kind of like within a range. You know what I mean? Like you'll get a show. Oh, you should be a marketing person. Like, like they'll pay you for your secrets. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, these are empty promises. These are
UAP Mike. Mike, you're one person who I actually want you to hop on the stage if you're available, because you've been in the back channels. I want you to be live with me to break down this CIFA shit for two. But if you're available, let me send you the invite on X.
Bro, you better hope that that's actually Mike.
Oh shit. Well, I'll send it on X.
It's a rare that you'd see his full name and face.
But yeah.
Be on the
They
lookout.
fuck with
Mods.
me. I'm tired of
Watch
it.
that guy.
She said they fuck with me. I'm tired of it after saying that thing about Lue
There's
Elizondo, by the
like
way.
Dude, did we
a
skip past
really
the
super
clip of Sokol talking about the
disturbing, and
van?
like I would probably have a panic attack.
Oh, wait,
if-
did we not cover it? I thought we did. Or does it? Let me see.
Yeah, you got to play the van thing, dude, because that was
Here,
such
let
a
me play this a
bizarre
little bit
part.
longer, and then I'll
if I
find it.
saw it. But there's like a really super disturbingly huge, shockingly huge pile of intel on me personally that these people are using against me. Like they know more about me than maybe I do. It's really bad. It's really bad. They like know my nicknames, and they know like phrases that are significant to me existentially, and they know my friends. They're lurking in the accounts of like all my friends because they tweet me from my friends' accounts all the time with malware. They're just lurking there. And like,
Pause this real quick. Move from stage, add you to stage. Let's see.
I said, my God, I've been up all night with fevers, sweating and everything. I go into the doctor's office, he's like, all right. And they take my blood and they do the whole thing. And it's like, we found nothing.
Yeah.
I'm older.
That's
but
very common with, as far as what I can tell from the research, it's very common with these.
Last 10 years.
So I've had that happen to me several times. One time, directed energy weapon. We got them on camera. We got license plate numbers. It was a rental car. It was during COVID, so there was a parking lot across the street. They were parked there, aiming the weapon through the door. The next time it happened to me was I didn't have my equipment grounded properly.
That's when you had that NASA scientist there, right? Amy Eskridge was there.
Amy Eskridge, yes. That's when that happened. The second time it happened was when I didn't have my equipment properly grounded. X-band microwaves, when the wavelength is about that long, that's the length of many of your neuron pathways. And I felt just like you felt. Nausea comes on really fast. You feel like you have a fever and stuff.
Fatigue at the yin yang, like you can't even get out of bed. Fatigue for no reason.
Yeah, and then it's gone. A day, and then it's just gone. And that's when we made tinfoil hats, PPE at the lab, and it goes away.
Really?
Yeah. And if you have those problems again, when you should get yourself a silver, like a silver mesh cloth.
That's it, dude.
Like,
the live reaction of them mentioning, I had no idea that Mark Sokol knew Amy Eskridge. I had no idea that they had been psychically, or like they had been attacked by these energy weapons. No clue. And then he had photos of the van, of the license plate that was a rental car. Dude, these are real. These weapons
this
and
is
this
just drama,
technology.
Chupacabra. Can we talk about the phenomena?
I love that.
I don't like this drama.
Dude, it's we try to tell people, bro.
Let's continue this a little bit. Bounce around though. See, so we've all been edited, bro.
It would be your fucking family.
Let's see.
I'm here. I'm ready. I'm insane. Tell me I'm sane. I'm ready for it. Tell me.
Okay, wait, sorry, right here.
Perfect sense. Natural evolution, fact, reality. Yes. They're like, I don't have to see it. I believe you. So like, that's where I'm coming from here.
What else has she got to say about
It's obvious to everyone around me, and my family's in like
Talk
total
about it
denial.
right here, yeah.
My family's in total denial, and we're like, so I hired this new cybersecurity company, and it's run by the former CIO of Northrop Grumman. I was referred to him for a reason. And he's like, hey, I've been spending 35 years in counter espionage, specifically for the Navy, specifically for advanced propulsion. And I was the chief information officer for Northrop Grumman. And I was like, okay, I'm going to tell you a series of really crazy ass stories. And can you please reserve judgment until the end? And I told him a bunch of stories about like electronic and physical surveillance and stalking and like weird ass death and sexual threats and shit. And I got to the end and I was like, okay, I'm ready. Tell me I'm crazy. I'm here. I'm ready. I'm insane. Tell me I'm sane. I'm ready for it. Tell me. And this guy was like, I wish I could tell you that you were insane, but you're totally not. He was like, I'm so fucking sorry. He was like trying to let me down gently. And he was like, the stories you've told me, I've heard from other young women in technology positions. And he was like, they do it on purpose. They do like crazy ass shit to you that is unbelievable just so that you feel like you can't tell anyone. And they pose as like agents from their own government.
My trick is that I tell.
You're crying about someone named King Milkfart? How dumb is that? You know what I mean? Mike, I sent it to you on X. There's some other stuff in there, but I'm eventually going to do one where I just kind of go through that whole interview and doing a bridge thing. But what did she talk about and other stuff that I wanted to? Yeah, so we got the Lue thing. She was definitely getting targeted. I think we got a fair enough, a bunch of it right there.
I think we're good on the Amy. By the way, rest in peace,
Rest
Amy
in peace,
Eskridge.
Amy. Yeah, she died. And then I pray for Allie, by the way.
Had
That
a very
we heard
heartfelt
from
thing, right?
earlier.
No,
Her
I think it's important to acknowledge, Red, that the fact she's a human being, and that, like, you know, we're playing clips of someone in a very troubled position, and it's like, you know, it.
Oh yeah, she didn't expect this to be out.
While
She's
it would
super-
be troubling, you know, I mean, it is factual that this happened, and she had a relationship with these people, and she was suffering from something was going on, and it does fit the bill from my research of Havana syndrome and different types of kind of, I don't want to say directed energy attacks, more like psychotronic like attacks. Something's going on.
Okay. Let me just play the second part of my little intro that I edited.
Are we going into the CIFA stuff now?
Yes, we are, Katupa.
Okay, audience.
We have cut out an hour of the programming, and we are there.
We're almost an hour. Yes, we are cooking over here, but
did previously work at the Counterintelligence Field Activity, so I don't want to get involved in the drama there, but I do think that is something for people to, and especially a character like Lue, who is surrounded by a lot of controversy.
Yeah,
I do think, and all I'll say is I think more questions need to be asked in documents void about his time at CIFA in the early 2000s. The Counterintelligence Field Activity.
Oh, yeah.
I left the Department of Defense, ironically enough, to finish the very mission they gave me in the first place. I didn't ask for it. I'm not a UFO guy. I'm not a ufologist. I never have been and never will be.
Part of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence is now working to conglomerate all of these databases, and that the Counterintelligence Field Activity, CIFA, of the Department of Defense is working to ensure that the military gains access to all of these.
Showed that the agency spied on don't ask, don't tell protests and anti-war protests at several universities around the country. They also show the government monitored student emails and planted undercover agents on at least one protest.
The documents that they've released have shown that they have spied on student groups.
A defense contractor with ties to Cunningham's troubles has been sold. It's MZM Incorporated, sold yesterday to a private investment firm. The head of MZM, Michael Wade, bought Cunningham's Del Mar home for more than $1.7 million.
A recent raid and ongoing investigation into Representative Randy Duke Cunningham's deals with defense contractor.
Organizers say Cunningham's alleged misconduct with a defense contractor is grounds for immediate resignation.
He's also a longtime friend of Brent Wilkes, the defense contractor who allegedly bribed Cunningham with money and reportedly with prostitutes as well.
I will continue to cooperate with the government's ongoing investigation to the best of my ability. In my life, I have had great joy and great sorrow, and now I know great shame.
I left the Department of Defense, ironically enough, to finish the very mission they gave me in the first place. I didn't ask for it. I'm not a UFO guy. I'm not a ufologist. I never have been and never will be. I'm a counterterrorism and counterespionage guy. I do counterintelligence, counterinsurgencies. That's what I do. And it just so happens that in 2008, I was asked to apply those same skill sets into the UFO community.
All right. So by the end of this, hopefully, I think we could do this in like 30 minutes or so. You should understand all those clips that were in that little intro. Yes, he was an ace in Vietnam. That was the largest bribery scandal ever in Congress. All right, CIFA, here we go. This is kind of the outline of this part. So we get this because Stephen Greenstreet found this name in a document. I guess I'll just read it, and then you'll understand more as we go later. This is an FBI report because, okay, so I guess I don't even know how the fuck to do this. It's still fresh. My documentary on this will be really good. My part 2, Lou, will be very fleshed out and organized and coherent. Counterintelligence Field Activity Office created after 9/11, part of the whole Patriot Act thing, basically to try and prevent terrorists. Eventually got closed down for like basically gang stalking anti-war protesters. They were overly surveilling people on the lower ends of like the internet. Like they were saying they were hacking people. We heard there in the news report they were sending plants into student groups and stuff like that, disrupting. You know what I mean? Oh, that reminds me. Amy had some good stuff to say about honeypots, but that's for another day. But so here's the document. And I guess I'll just say this now too.
Hold on. I want to smooth, real coherent thing. I want to also know if I'm on the right page here. After 9/11, there was a government group created to control chatter and what do you call it? Counterculture stuff, right? Criticisms about the war that was about to take place, right? So the Counterintelligence Field Activity is basically that. They were surveying protesters and people online just to control their chatter. They were also sending in agents to run surveillance. They were sending in people to pretend to be students. It almost seemed like they had an infinite amount of money. Like they were doing a lot, right? Am I correct here? They were running these ops against civilians in the name of like national security. It was then deemed an overreach, and the director of it resigned in shame. It was
well, not just that. There's two things. So there was the overreach, and then there was bribery shit all tied into it, and hookers, and they were blackmailing, I think. So yeah, this was kind of like
these guys were running. They're running crazy. They were going crazy.
They're like a gang or something.
Like in like the gang of cops that Denzel Washington's character ran with in Training Day.
Yeah.
They're just out there doing the worst shit.
So we're all on the same page. I'll just read this. I'll take one for the team. Counterintelligence Field Activity, CIFA, and shout out Gerb, you know, and I like Gerb. I don't want this to sound like I don't like Gerb. And we all have our own battles, and I appreciate him shouting that out because I feel like there's people who will listen to him and not me. Whatever, it is what it is. he's very comfortable talking about Greer, right? He'll talk mad shit about Greer. Talk your shit, Gerb. Get it, bro. He doesn't need to be called out on some things. But those are the only clips of him talking about Elizondo. Those 2 clips. You know
The
that?
clips of him saying,
I don't want to
I
talk
don't
about
want
that.
to get
people
into
are
it,
looking at
but
CIFA.
people should look into his time at CIFA. People should FOIA his time at CIFA. Almost like he's afraid to
My
go deeper, right?
life is going to end within a couple of days, and then I'm going to take down Tupa and Red first.
Lue did previously work at the Counterintelligence Field Activity, so I don't want to get involved in the drama there, but I do think that is something for people to, and especially a character like Lue, who is surrounded by a lot of controversy.
Yeah,
I do think, and all I'll say is I think more questions need to be asked and documents FOIA'd about his time at CIFA in the early 2000s, the Counterintelligence Field Activity.
Oh yeah.
He has heard some shit.
I'm not trying to be a hater, but I think it's worth noting, like Gerb is, I think, a very accomplished researcher, does really great edited videos, but like also be aware of like the dynamics around this conversation. You know what I mean? Gerb, who I think is one of the best of us, is like mad about it.
That's fear.
You know what I mean?
He's like, I don't want to touch this. I don't want to touch this, dude. CIFA. Looks like we have like.
And what do we do, Tupa? Dive right into the gutter.
Yeah, we're gonna go right into it, dude. We're gonna go right into this defamed like group. And Talon, we're gonna go right into it. We're gonna wonder, how did Uplifting Tweets get his account turned back on? Why were they? How do they know all these people's background information? How are they able to do house calls? CIFA. Very interesting group of people, very interesting group of tactics.
All the boys back together, bro.
Damn.
So Counterintelligence Field Activity, CIFA, was a United States Department of Defense, a DoD agency whose size and budget were classified. The CIFA was created by Directive number 5105.67 from the Secretary of Defense, then Donald Rumsfeld. Now, this is where you, JK Philly fan, alien scientist had told me, let me see, I think I got it over here. So Rumsfeld was working for Solomon Smith back in the day, and they're connected to Freescale Semiconductors. So Rumsfeld, and a fun fact about Rumsfeld too, I don't know if you know this, Tiba, in the 60s, he was a young, early congressman, and he actually introduced J. Allen Hynek at that one hearing after the Michigan wave. Like, he was the congressman who like introduced him to the thing. So kind of in the UFO shit on some other shit, low key. So I'm just throwing that out there. This would have been the years where the dark shit was happening for Lue. Maybe I'm open to honestly CIFA having some like UFO shit. They for sure were shady, though. To be determined on the UFO stuff. We'll see.
That was a fun factoid, though.
Donald Rumsfeld, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
February 19th, 2002. So not even, 3 months after 9/11, bro? Just down to anything that needed to be done, right? Anything that needed to be done, right? I think if you were alive, we could all, I think, definitely remember. Oh, by the way, also, shout out Days. Thank you for the $49 super chat. God bless you. We love you. And you're a sub on X, so God bless you. But, yeah, the energy at that time, right? Like this is, I mean, that's when the Patriot Act was passed. That's when all this crazy stuff was passed that they later had to kind of walk back allegedly. On August 8th, 2008, it was announced that CIFA would be shut down. The Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, absorbed most of the components and authorities of CIFA into the Defense Counterintelligence and Human Intelligence Center, and was later consolidated into the Defense Clandestine Service. Mission.
The DIA, isn't the DIA where Average Chris works now, according to Moneypenny?
Oh, dear. Fuck, every time, huh? Yeah, I mean, hey, it has to be said. I'm not saying Chris is that. If he is that, at least he called out the bullshit that a lot of people were dealing with. So
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I listen.
But it's worth noting, bro.
Yeah.
CIFA goals were to effectively and efficiently manage and oversee the Defense Department counterintelligence enterprise, to synchronize defense counterintelligence activities across the department in coordination with the national intelligence community, to manage priority counterintelligence plans and projects in fulfillment of national department and combatant commander requirements, to select and develop unique counterintelligence operational support capabilities and make them available to a wider intelligence community, to serve as the primary source of career development and training for counterintelligence professionals, to identify, develop, and field advanced technologies for counterintelligence, to create a joint interoperable and synchronized approach to counterintelligence as a distinct intelligence discipline, to assess the feasibility of a department-level joint operational element in defense counterintelligence. Okay, I think next I want to go. Let's watch some of the news coverage of when it actually broke that this was happening in the scandal parts. Let's see. So I got a little clip montage.
Showed that the agency spied on don't ask, don't tell protests and anti-war protests at several universities around the country. They also show the government monitored student emails and planted undercover agents on at least one protest.
The documents that they've released have shown that they have spied on student groups, including student groups at UC Santa Clara, the state universities in New York, the NYU Law School. And what those documents show is that they were investigating these groups for potential terrorist activity. They even called a gay kiss-in at UC Santa Cruz that was trying to protest Don't Ask, Don't Tell. It was, quote, a credible threat of terrorism, end quote.
To help the government track suspected terrorists and spies who may be visiting or residing in the country, the FBI and the Defense Department for the past 3 years have been paying a Georgia-based company for access to its vast databases that contain billions of personal records and about nearly every person, citizens and non-citizens alike in the U.S. Among the services Choice Point provides to the government is access to a previously undisclosed and vaguely described exclusive data searching system. This system, in effect, gives law enforcement and intelligence agencies the ability to use private data broker to do something that they legally can't, keep tabs on nearly every American.
So, and again, this all has to be viewed in the context of this is what Lue Elizondo was doing, the circles he was in before he was tasked to take those same skill sets to the UFO community. And I think me and Tupa have done, and a lot of other people, done a good job illuminating that he has a hate group of people who do crazy shit to people. And he has somehow has a way of finding information about people that other people can't. And I'm not even saying what he's doing now is official or sanctioned, but the fact that he's coming from this world and doing this today, like it has to be asked, right, Tupa? Like either sanctioned or not. Like it's like if a UFC fighter gets in a fight, right? It's like not just like a normal person getting in a fight. Like you're trained on some other shit, bro, right before you came to our community. I guess
if these facts were brought up in 2021 when these original claims were made about Lue, about the kind of operation he was running, if these facts would have been revealed, it would have been so obvious what was happening. These are the exact kind of, this is the information that,
and this is why facts were obfuscated, right?
Exactly. And this is why people were vilified. This is astounding.
This is crazy, right? This, I told you, I was like, bro, I don't even want to tell you in his space.
Well, dude,
I want to do it live together. This is insane.
One of the things that's really getting to me now is the fact that UAP Gerb as a name has been elevated to someone of prominence, which is great. And I support that. But it's Gerb who brought this up. Do you understand?
It was actually Green Street, and I was looking into it.
Well, no. Green Street. I don't mean brought this up as in someone who broke the story, but like he's the one in these in his two recent bigger interviews as someone who's been ingratiated into the congratulations, Gerb's one of us. He's brought this up by him bringing this up.
And kudos to him. And no, 100% kudos to him. It's not a. I'll be honest. If I'm being honest, I was like. Well, because people like throw it in our face all the fucking time, right? They're like, why can't he be like Gerb? He doesn't do drama. He just does research. And it's like, okay, but like, look at Gerb's not down to talk about this. But to his credit, he knows it's a fucking messy world over here, and he did like at least help illuminate some of this stuff to a degree. Yeah, so for sure, shout out Gerb. Shout out Green Street.
I think some people just give us information because they know we're going to talk about it, bro. Like. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's give them something to talk about. Let's go.
Getting Bonnie Raitt in the mix. Yes.
And then foreigner in.
We know that there are dozens of these databases: Cornerstone, Talon, JREES, LEO, LESIC, the Coast Guard ICC database, the FBI Guardian database, the FBI TRRS database, the Joint Intelligence Task Force Counterterrorism Homeland Defense database, the SSOMB database, the BTS summary. We know that these databases are out there and that they all deal with domestic issues. What is particularly worrisome right now is that the National Counterterrorism Center, which is set up as part of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, is now working to conglomerate all of these databases, and that the Counterintelligence Field Activity, CIFA, of the Department of Defense is working to ensure that the military gains access to all of these databases as well. So each of these, which goes into the creation of various watch lists and various tip-offs for the military or the intelligence community to surveil certain people, that determine the key. There was some complaint issued yesterday by Bill Nelson of Florida in response to the...
That's the other thing. A lot of interesting names were coming up when I was digging into this CIFA shit, like Bill Nelson of Florida. He would go on to be the NASA administrator and talk about all this UFO shit. Daniel Inouye's name would come up a lot. Ted Stevens' name would come up a lot. And I think even fucking Harry Reid's name would come up a lot when I was looking into this. And they all are the ones who founded up ATIP in 2008.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna dig deeper into, so for my documentary it'll be, well, like I said, this is fresh. This is like
oh my God.
Yeah, it's very, I don't even know what to make of it.
Well, it's this is the laundry machine. This is more evidence that ufology is the laundry machine of these people's war crimes, or human rights violations, or you know what I mean, constitutional violations.
Yeah, and that's why I say when it's like, dude, Tulsi's about to get him, bro. Like, he's already connected to some overspying American shit. Like when they talk about the deep state being weaponized against Americans, they're literally talking about like Lue Elizondo CIFA type shit, Snowden type shit. You know what I mean? Let's see what you got next. So not only is CIFA, do we love CIFA? Some of their contracts are Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Halliburton. This is the story that broke it all in 2004. Aren't those interesting names that CIFA has in the mix, bro?
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
What do you think about those names, bro? I'll read the article from 2004 that broke the story, December 13, or actually 2005, sorry. CIFA is becoming the superpower of data mining within the U.S. national security community. Its operational and analytical records include reports, investigation, collection reports, statements of individuals, affidavits, correspondence, and other documentation pertaining to investigative or analytical efforts by the DoD and other U.S. government agencies to identify terrorist and other threats. Since March 2004, CIFA has awarded at least $33 million in contracts to corporate giants Lockheed Martin, Unisys Corporation, Corporate Sciences Corporation, and Northrop Grumman to develop databases that comb through classified and unclassified government data, commercial information, and internet chatter to help sniff out terrorists, saboteurs, and spies.
God damn it.
So Lue Elizondo coming from this world, the idea, oh, he doesn't know who King Milkfart is. He doesn't pay attention to any of that. Like...
He's literally watching online chatter. Like that's the data collection, the databases he has. These people have access to, the way in which they operate, the arrogance that they have, that they're doing something to save America or something. This is crazy,
right?
I thought the U.S. aid stuff was really bad, but this is bad. This makes it so
bad.
much worse.
And bro, like I said, there's even some fucking Pizzagate shit that I don't want to talk about on the stream. I'll tell you in the back channel.
Oh my God, dude.
Let's see. What do we got next? So let's get into this Duke Cunningham thing. So let me see. Do I want to do it? Let's see the Wikipedia entry on it, because that might be helpful. Okay, actually, no, fuck it. We'll just do it this way. We'll do it live. Okay. Oh, wait. No, damn it.
You don't happen to have Alejandro Rojas's quote on here, do you?
No, but I can pull it up. Or can you pull it up? Can you stream something, or are you on your phone?
I can't. I don't think I can stream it.
Let me do it after. Let me see. If I just do one over, will it do it? Let's see.
I mean, the claims have been, the allegations so far, like he was running these sock puppet accounts and all this stuff. Like we couldn't figure out why. How? We knew it was like cookie cutter. It was too formulaic.
It was too much infrastructure, too much money. And I really think like what I said in Anjali's clip will go in really well too. Look at this, how difficult all this shit is every time. Present. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Members of a federal watchdog group are...
So this is the Duke Cunningham scandal, which kind of helped bring a lot of this to light too. So like I said, there's two separate things kind of going on here. One, the surveillance and gang stalking and hacking and sending plants in, sending people that aren't really part of the group, acting like they're part of the group. Like Lue comes from an organization that was doing that, right? This is the Duke Cunningham scandal. There was also this element of bribery and weird shit going on where CIFA was just giving money to like shell companies that weren't doing shit, which I don't even know if this is going to cover it in depth.
No.
But let's see. This is one perspective where one of the congressmen got caught up in it. And even this is shady, where it's like he shouldn't have been the only one who got in trouble.
Also, elephant in the room. He looks weird.
This isn't the congressman, by the way. This
For
is
sure.
Heading to San Diego tonight from Washington, D.C. to ask Congressman Randy Duke Cunningham to resign immediately. The group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, or otherwise known as CREW, will join local Democratic groups in presenting the congressman with signatures from an online campaign.
How much you want to bet this is where a Serpidestis staffer lives? He's in San Diego.
The site resignrandy.org urges Cunningham to resign because it feels he can no longer properly serve the 50th district. CREW is also lobbying the House Ethics Committee to launch an investigation.
Although we support the numerous federal probes that are investigating the various charges, we feel that as a member of the House, it is incumbent upon the House to look at its own members' conduct.
The groups will present the signatures tomorrow at noon at Representative Cunningham's Escondido office.
It may be getting more and more difficult for Congressman Randy Duke Cunningham to finish out his term in office.
While Cunningham says he won't seek re-election when his term ends in a year and a half, some North County Democrats want him to leave now. They delivered a petition to his Escondido office today. On the same day, the U.S. Attorney's Office said the congressman's Rancho Santa Fe home should be forfeited to the government.
We have team coverage tonight. Steve Price is in Escondido on the petition drive.
Well, you know, Barbara Lee and Stan, these petitions cannot formally remove Congressman Duke Cunningham from office, but they can definitely send him a message. San Diegans signing petitions urging Congressman Duke Cunningham to resign.
Because my representation is not for sale.
Resign not in 17 months when his term is up, but now.
Immediately, today. He should have resigned already. He shouldn't be putting the citizens of his district through this, where they need representation of someone who can actually focus on their interests and not his legal problems.
Melanie Sloan is from the nonpartisan group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. She's pleasantly surprised at how aggressively the Justice Department is going after Cunningham.
If it had just been about MZM and Mitchell Wade giving money solely to Mr. Cunningham's PAC and his campaign committee, we wouldn't see what we're seeing. It's the fact that the money, $700,000, went into his pocket directly, allowing him to buy this mansion, that I think has really caught the Justice Department's attention.
Sloan believes the FBI raids at MZM and ADCS, companies with ties to Congressman Cunningham, are just the tip of the iceberg.
MZM, this is going to be an important name to keep in mind. MZM is one of these like fake shell companies that was bribing this congressman with like hookers and money and all this shit. And then he was helping CIFA fund the money to them. You feel me? Is that making sense?
Money was coming from a shell company called MZM. And
other way, CIFA was giving money to a shell company called MZM. MZM's leadership was giving money and hookers to the congressmen who sit on the committee to help get the money going. So it's like shady at the politician level,
so
at the
they
CIFA
were
level,
bribing,
and shady at the MZM level.
CIFA was using a shell company to bribe Congress to allow CIFA to operate more.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. CIFA
And
was
just to line their own pockets, it seemed.
So they created shell. Oh my God.
And she says the fact that the government is already seeking forfeiture of Cunningham's Rancho Santa Fe mansion tells her the case is moving quickly, and she couldn't be happier.
I'm very pleased because I think Mr. Cunningham's behavior is very egregious, looks very serious, and by all accounts, the Department of Justice is taking it as seriously as it should. And it looks to me like Mr. Cunningham's going down for bribery.
Signatures that we have gathered by way of a petition that has been circulated for the last week and a half.
The petitions were turned over to Cunningham staff Thursday afternoon. Employees here say they'll be.
Dude.
Is that my computer? Uh-oh.
Forwarded on to Washington. As for Cunningham, he continues to maintain his innocence. He says he's done nothing wrong.
He's lying. What would you expect him to say? If he just admitted that he took a bribe, then he'd be going to jail now.
And several groups in Washington are hoping that someone in Congress will file a formal ethics complaint against Cunningham, try to convince him to go ahead and resign. But they say it is doubtful that will happen, because when one congressman does that to another congressman, somebody turns around and does it to them as retribution. And so they say a lot of the Congress people at this point are standing back and saying, hey, the Department of Justice is handling it. We're just going to let them go ahead with their investigation.
All right, Steve Price, thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Carol LeBeau.
And I'm Hal Clement. The congressman listed his home for $3.5 million, but there is a catch. Let's go to 10 News reporter Kim Edwards, high above Rancho Santa Fe in Sky 10. Kim?
Well, you'll remember the congressman's problem started with a real estate deal. That was of his Del Mar home. He used that money, the proceeds from the sale, to buy this house in Rancho Santa Fe, 5 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, and 1 claim from the government. The house sits on 3 acres in an exclusive neighborhood. Real estate agents say selling a home in this price range usually takes a while, and it's nearly impossible when the listing includes a line warning buyers of a claim against the property.
Nancy and I have decided to sell our home in Rancho Santa Fe.
Just days after the congressman announced he would sell his house and donate some of the proceeds to charity, the U.S. Attorney's Office filed a secret civil lawsuit against the property. Basically, Cunningham cannot sell the house, and if he does, the government says it has a right to the money.
A member of Congress shouldn't be able to spend the next 17 months as a member of Congress waiting for
Like,
indictment.
even this shit feels uppy, honestly, against him. But basically, something happened where he bought the house. Somehow in this transaction, the guy who was running MZM, one of these like fake shell companies that appeared out of nowhere, gave Cunningham like $1 million or some shit like that.
Right.
In the process of all that. And let's see. I think is there anything else? Somewhere that more petition, blah 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 blah. Yeah, see, I just had them all together here. But see, doesn't it feel
bribing people, dude, taking it down? Yeah, this whole thing on news back in the day always seems fake when I watch it now. But
right?
this is
it's like,
crazy.
what the fuck? Okay, let's see what we got next. So yeah, like I said, there's prostitutes in the mix, where some of these contractors like MZM were. Now, mind you, this all ties into CIFA because CIFA was sending MZM millions of dollars, right? And I think this is why Cunningham got bagged, because I read another thing, and like I said, I'm going to flesh this all out more, but more people should have been in trouble than him, in my opinion. Just getting a cursory look. But yeah, just the fact that like these people, I'm not saying Lue Elizondo particularly, but that world is willing to use like prostitutes and shit like that. And we already hear about honeypot. Like, it's such a different world than I think most people are used to. So I just thought this was an important data point to highlight. Let's see. Then they closed it. Let's see what else we got. This is where it's going to get a little bit like
2008. Very
interesting
year.
Yeah. Yep, 2008, another great year. Oh, here's what I was talking about. I don't have pictures of them up here, but so here's an example. When you look at all the documents, maybe it's just because of the committee they were on, but to the Honorable John Warner, chairman. And then over here we got.
What year is this from?
This is like 2000. Oh shit! Where the fuck? Oh no! What happened there? 2000. What does that say? 6. I want to say.
Yeah, it looks like.
So there's documents of like through all of it being made and all of it not. But then we got Rockefeller on here. We got John Warner, which I'm pretty sure is either our John Warner's like dad or Chris Mellon's uncle or something like that. And then we got Daniel Inouye and Ted Stevens, who would fund up ATIP a few years later, or actually, yeah, like 2 years, or OSAP 2 years after this. Isn't that interesting that these names are like all here in the mix right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what to make of it yet. Then what do we got here?
Perfect Storm says 2005, which is fine.
2005. Okay. All right. So the one document we have, so you know who MZM is, right? And this, you know who CIFA is. Let's read the document we have that names a Luis Elizondo as working there. Which, by the way, like I said earlier,
whoa, what?
So this is the FBI investigation into it all after it closed down. This is where they found it.
This is an investigation specifically into the shell company MZM,
into MZM and
its relation to CIFA.
Yes, and Cunningham and all this dirty shit. In emails dated March 30th, 2005, DoD employees discuss a new data acquisition and conversion project for which $12 million is apparently allocated. At approximately 10:41 a.m. on March 30th, CIFA's chief technical scientist, Theodore Wiatrak, asked other DoD CIFA employees via email, "Is our guidance to give all of our money to MZM?" Subsequent emails indicate that Wiatrak promptly received an affirmative response that MZM was to receive all the new money. Right. So already people are like, this is shady that are working there. That same day at approximately 12:26 p.m., WeAttrack objects because we are being directed to pass the money to a single contractor who performed poorly on the last effort. I believe this is wrong and respectfully decline to participate.
Ooh.
In response to his you got something there?
No, that's bold. This is a bold email. This is bold back and forth, dude. Calling it out, yo, like you want.
And this is where our friend comes in. What is our friend gonna do here, bro? This is where our friend comes in.
This is crazy, dude.
In response to his complaints, WeAttrack was simply informed by a CIFA employee, Lue Elizondo, by email forwarded on March 31st at 7:08 a.m. that CIFA's deputy director, Joseph Hefferon, directed that CIFA stay with MZM, the company that would later bring all this shit down, the shady company. He's the guy telling the guy trying to raise the alarm. He's like, no, this is actually cool. Like this shady shit. I don't know if that's the same Lue Elizondo, but it's not. CIFA employee Lue Elizondo comes in and says, hey, actually, you know what? You're right. I looked at that too, and that does look like a little shady. He's like, no, bro, don't even ask.
Don't even ask, dude. Don't fucking ask about it.
I'm going to read a little bit more just so people could see the and that's the only mention of him, though. On April 11th, 2005, Amy Dahl, CIFA's chief information officer, also objected to the use of MZM for the new project. We have not been happy with the lack of responsiveness on the part of MZM on the current contract, and the new statement of work includes development tasks which may extend beyond MZM's expertise.
Wow.
Since this order did not undergo a competition as we had requested and as I had documented, I suggest that either we reconsider the acquisition strategy and openly compete it, or we consider making Nick Bemish or Brian DeMura or some other CIFA individual the TM. A technical manager. I cannot in good faith have one of my folks serve as TM on an acquisition process we did not support. We're not consulted on. It adds stated during the statement of work working group effort would not be supported by us. So just another high-level person saying that they're not comfortable with this money exchange going on.
You know what's happening. By the way, the comment you have pinned up is from the chat is blocking some of the paperwork or whatever. But so what's going on here is that certain employees in CIFA, right, who are already doing pretty much illegal shit, are noticing, but aren't in the loop on the bribery aspect of it. They are surveying, they're in the thing, but the more illegal stuff, like having a shell company flooded with money and having CIFA be, you know what I mean, just be pouring all the money to them, didn't make any sense, because clearly MZM was presented as a contractor or some group that can do something, and they were given a bunch of money. Most of the team did not know, clearly, in my opinion, that MZM was given that money for a totally different reason. So when team leaders of CIFA start realize, you know, they assess the job as poorly done because MZM didn't really do what they were paid to do, because those team leaders don't know what MZM was meant for, which we've now known through these other lawsuits or whatever. MZM was a shell company that was used to bribe, right, to create distance between
some point,
CIFA
and do other shady shit too. But yeah, and I think just make those guys rich. But the crazy thing is, the only one who got in trouble really with all this was that congressman. Well, the head of this guy did too, but Lue Elizondo didn't. Lue Elizondo's here in FBI report saying no, that sketch company is good, but he's not in trouble for that. He's right here in black and white on an FBI report, bro.
And by the way, I know that we're saying we don't know if this is the Lue Elizondo, but one of the most praised researchers in the field, also one of the best researchers in the field I know of, Green Street. They've both identified that Lue Elizondo was in CIFA, and I doubt there's multiple. The odds of there being two Lue Elizondo.
Yeah, and his book checks out the location of the offices, even though he's vague about it.
Exactly, and I'm with Anjali. No amnesty or immunity for Lue Elizondo.
Why do you think he's always the one begging for it?
Exactly.
Why do you think he's always talking on behalf of the Lockheed? Because he's doing the same thing, bro.
Dude,
he's done
this
it.
This is now
crazy, right?
So bad, dude.
Oh, and then look, even more food for thought. So here he says, that same day at approximately 12:26 p.m., Whistleblowers objects because we were being directed to pass the money to a single contractor who performed poorly on the last effort. I believe this is wrong and respectfully decline to participate. In response to his complaint, WeAttrack was simply informed by CIFA employee Lue Elizondo by email, blah, 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 that CIFA's deputy director, Joseph Hefferon, directed CIFA stay with MZM. Now, this one on the top left is after all the shit went down, and it says that Hefferon had no knowledge of any of the shadiness.
Dude, it's Heffron added that neither he nor Burt had authority over CIFA contracts, which were awarded by a separate agency. See what I'm saying? Like they were, even CIFA was being used, dude. Like they were, this is so shady. This is so shady.
This is crazy, right? That he's coming from a place that's connected to gang stalking, illegal surveillance, placing plants into people, contracts with Lockheed Martin, Halliburton,
laundering money through
blackmailing congressmen, who is also a fighter ace and shit, entrapping them with prostitutes. And I mean, that was the MZM thing, but he's happy to fucking tell everyone, hey, look away from MZM, give him the money, right?
He's involved because he knows.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, he's the one dealing the contracts, and he's the one out here being like, don't question the contract. He knows what MZM is doing. He's one of the only people listed here in the conversation that knows. The other people were never informed. Witriak or whatever, Wiatrek was not informed. Doesn't know. That's why they're calling. They're like, I'm not going to participate in this. It's sketchy to them, and they're already doing sketchy things.
Yes. So
they're like, hey, we're committing crimes. We're like, this what we're doing is unconstitutional. But you're talking about giving $12 million to a company we don't know what they do or who they are, and it's clearly money laundering. Like we're bribing people here with that. That's
a lot
crazy.
of money too, millions of dollars, bro.
12.
The only people
12.5, dude. Whoa.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of ties into this too. This is from the King Milkfart Harassment Archive. Let me just get this real quick.
Play the hits.
Because and actually, while I pull it up, this might be fun to watch, to mention. Oh shit! Oh my god! So sorry.
How does behavior that we've been watching and hearing about and researching and documenting for 3 years, how does it match perfectly what this entire shamed, defamed, notorious government agency was literally designed to do, and he's involved in it?
Right. Okay, let's watch a few of these just real quick.
The paper trail here is crazy. And then he admits it.
Washington, D.C. now to Ken Silverstein with Harper's Magazine, who wrote the piece, Why Did the CIA's Chief Resign So Abruptly? On the loss of Goss. Why, Ken Silverstein?
Well, I think it's definitely tied to the whole Duke Cunningham scandal that's been unfolding and the allegations of these parties that were thrown at the Watergate Hotel and the several other hotels apparently in Washington. I've never heard that Porter Goss did anything personally wrong. I mean, no one suggested that he had any unsavory role at these parties. I have heard stories that he may have attended a few of the parties, but the bigger issue really is with the CIA's current executive director, although he apparently resigned yesterday, Dusty Fogo, who Goss brought in for reasons that were never quite clear and apparently has been defending. And he looks to be under intense scrutiny in this whole affair. The CIA, there's an internal investigation at the CIA, and the FBI is reportedly investigating him as well. He's acknowledged being at these parties. He's also a longtime friend of Brent Wilkes, the defense contractor who allegedly bribed Cunningham with money and reportedly with prostitutes as well. And so he is very, very deeply, he's at the center of this whole unfolding scandal, and he's very close to Goss. Furthermore, several other people close to Goss, CIA officials who he brought in, their names have surfaced in the investigation as well. Newsweek recently reported that Brent Bassett, who was nicknamed,
I think we were saying Ted Stevens' name also appeared too. So it seems like they were blackmailing a bunch of fucking people, and then they had Homeboy take the hit, and then maybe even had the other ones who didn't take the hit start up their next money laundering thing for them. You know what I mean? That's the vibe I get. I'm gonna have to dig through it more. Let me see. There's another one I wanted to play too. I was having to screen record these guys off fucking Democracy Now. So much work went into this.
Dude, is this like why Lue was working disinfo for these companies? Like, this is so weird. Like the Lukatsky thing, the Skinwalkers of the Pentagon thing. Like, there's so many things to have to look at and reevaluate with this new information.
Right? Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I'll play the Anjali clip.
Now.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. On Friday, CIA Director Porter Goss abruptly resigned after less than 2 years on the job. President Bush made the announcement at the Oval Office, sitting next to Goss and Director of National Intelligence John Negroponte. Goss spoke after the president made the announcement.
It has been a very distinct honor and privilege to serve you, of course, the people of the country and the employees of the Central Intelligence Agency. I can tell you the trust and confidence you've placed in me and given me the latitude to work is something I could never have imagined, and I am most grateful for it. I would like to report back to you that I believe the agency is on a very even keel, sailing well. I honestly believe that we have improved dramatically. Your goals for our nation's intelligence capabilities, which are in fact the things that I think are keeping us very safe. And I honestly would report to you, sir, that we are safer for your efforts, your leadership.
Both the president and Goss have kept quiet about the reasons behind Goss's resignation. When a CNN reporter asked him about it on Saturday as he was leaving his home, Goss said only, quote, "It is one of those mysteries." But the Washington Post quoted anonymous senior administration officials saying that Bush lost confidence in Goss early on, and it had been decided months ago he'd be replaced. Goss, as a former congressman from Florida, had also come under increasing pressure as allegations arose that he and a top aide, Kyle Dusty Fago, may have attended poker parties where bribes and prostitutes were provided to now jailed Congressmember Randy Duke Cunningham. Fago is the executive director of the agency and is under...
So a bunch of people were at those parties that Homeboy got caught up in, one of them being the CIA director. If you guys are tracking here.
The CIA director was at those parties, dude.
With the hookers and shit.
Review.
Dirty, huh, bro?
He also may be indicted by the FBI for his role in the Cunningham scandal. After Goss's announcement, Fago told his colleagues he would resign next week. This morning, President Bush nominated General Michale Hayden to replace Porter Goss. Hayden's the Deputy Director of National Intelligence,
the man, hate the sin.
and former Director of National Security Agency. It's expected Hayden would face a contentious confirmation process over the administration's domestic spying program, which is run by the NSA. This is General Hayden speaking at a rare...
Mind you, when this was happening in like 2006, this was like the first time that the country was like, this is like a whole, I think, 8 years before Snowden or so. This is the first time there was some shit like, oh shit, okay, the boner, or not boner, but the like the war fever of like post 9/11 starting to wear off a little bit, and we're looking around. So this is like that.
This is the first collateral damage of like the Patriot Act kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like, we were like, oh, there was some overreach here.
Yeah.
A news conference in January defending the spy program. He was questioned by Knight Ridder reporter Jonathan Landay.
My understanding is that the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution specifies that you must have probable cause to be able to do a search that does not violate an American's right against unlawful searches and seizures.
Actually, the Fourth Amendment actually protects all of us against unreasonable search and seizure.
So that's okay. So point being, why I wanted to get to this. So amidst all this scandal, we flip a CIA director, a cherished veteran who's crying in front of everyone. But okay, let's read that in the context of this now. Let's see. So Michale Hayden, right? CIA director forced out. The Hayden Center, his official think tank, this is the official account if you go look at it, liked to post in 2023 about Sean Kirkpatrick being harassed. Now, this might be really hard for people to comprehend, but Tupa, let me just try and get it for everyone again. A CIA director is basically banished for overstepping fucking surveillance shit. The new CIA director is this guy. He's not the CIA director anymore. He does, I think, 3-4 years. His think tank is liking King Milkfart Harassment Archive posts talking about how Sean Kirkpatrick's being harassed by the UFO hate group. What is to be made of this, Chupacabra?
Only one conclusion can come from this, and that is Lue's behavior and what's going on in the UFO community is on his radar, and that it's on his radar for a specific reason. Most likely, Lue Elizondo.
Definitely watching. Hi, Lue.
He's definitely watching. He's watching it. I think he's understanding it. My guess is there was probably people that Lue has encountered in the UFO community who have made major complaints. I think we can see that through people like Ramirez, and the list probably goes on.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. Thank you.
You know what I mean? So I think that people like Hayden were very aware of what was happening. As well, let's not throw the fucking baby out with the bathwater. This is about Sean Kirkpatrick.
Yeah,
Sean Kirkpatrick is a well-respected guy in the government, as far as I know, right? Like the fact that he was being harassed could also have caught the attention right?
Oh yeah, they went after so many high level. But here's the thing, though. I was always like, why are they so bold? He comes from a network of people that blackmail the fucking. I'm not saying he did it, but you got to have some balls to be blackmailing the CIA director, the fucking an ace fighter pilot from Vietnam, cherished, beloved fucking congressman. You have to have some. That's a dirty motherfucker that's willing to do that, right? You could get a lot done if you're that kind of guy, but it takes ganas. It takes fucking lack of respect. Like, you know what I mean? There's so much there that the average person doesn't have. So, you know, I mean, he's probably like, who gives a fuck? Yeah, Kirkpatrick. Like,
well, you've done a
what's Kirkpatrick to fucking the CIA director? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
To Cunningham.
Look how they treat him. Look how they treat him. Look how Lue directs, and the Lue crew directs the hatred towards people. They don't care about anybody. They went after NASA. They went after Kirkpatrick. They go after anyone.
Exactly.
And trying to figure out why. Well, look at their history now. Look at Lue's history. Look at the history of these organizations. They went after, like you said, the CIA director. They went after a war veteran turned congressman, and now he went to jail, lost his house. Also took a bribe. Fuck that guy. You know what I mean? But still, dude, they were bribing these people with a shell company, MZM. How many shell companies exist in ufology right now? How many people are disciples of this man?
Yeah, how many
right
has Lue been part of? Guys, like,
think about
I really
it,
try not
dude.
to be a hater, but it's not like we have evidence of Grush telling fucking Enron execs like bye. You know what I mean? Like, we have that for Lue. Like, this is it. Like, it's not just like Lue. CIFA employee Lue Elizondo said, "Hey, I think you're actually right. I looked into this MZM thing, and it's totally sketch and fake and gay, and totally just a money laundering thing." It's like, no, brother. Actually, so and so said that it's all good, even though a month later he's going to say, "I had no idea any of this was going on." The guy that I'm citing, me speaking as Lue there, and it makes me think of this too, right? With all the hate group shit from John Ramirez. At first, this seemed far off, but he operates on behalf of Pentagon stakeholders with the most to lose from disclosure. He's the henchman of a guy who comes from CIFA, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Halliburton, contracted Gangstalking unit. Is this far off, Tupa?
Think about that. King
John
Milkfart.
Ramirez said this
How
about
long has King Milkfart been running around the community and people been kind of kissing his ass? Didn't Chase just go on a rant, not to get too personal, about how much he loves this guy? He's the henchman of a Lockheed, Northrop Grumman shill who was part of a company like that was committing crimes against Americans, unconstitutional behavior, like all the way through, bribing people, prostitutes for people, harassing people, looking up information on people. Like, that's the henchman. The people.
Well, that's the thing we didn't get to.
Lue, dude.
We got to it a little bit with Anjali, but Amy Eskridge was saying the same thing too. This concept of like honeypotting in this field is very real, and it's like, it sounds so dumb, and I know I thought the same thing too, but like, we both know a few motherfuckers who like legitimately been honeypotted by like a person
for real
who was just there to get information about you and act like they were like dating you. It's so weird to see happen IRL. But when I think too that like these people are willing to use process, and bro, the Pizzagate, let me just say some words to let you know, like the Pizzagate shit. So after all this shit, they didn't go away. They just renamed. They got bought up by Veritas Group, which is a venture capital firm, I think, that the Clintons use a lot. Another one of the things that Veritas Group owns is Dino Corp, which has all this really sketch stuff with Pizzagate type stuff, where like missing kids from Haiti, missing kids from Kosovo, missing kids from Serbia, all kind of like under the same little.
Wait a second, really?
Yeah, but well,
that's not just Pizzagate, dude. That's like MK Ultra shit. That's like this psionic asset. You know what I mean? Look at the stuff that people have been saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're really seeing I think we're seeing a lot of, and maybe even Jake Barber. I mean, Jake Barber basically told you this too. Like,
lost your red.
Oh shit! Hello, how about now? Hello.
We'll see what happens over there.
No.
You guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Hello, test. No.
Check one. Check one. Check two. All right. In the chat, let me know if you guys can hear me. I do not know what happened to Red. I can see his mouse moving. Okay, we got movement. Okay. John Ramirez is an ex-CIA officer. Red probably can or can't hear me. Oh, I just can't hear Red?
Yeah, I guess they could hear me. Okay, cool.
Okay,
because
well,
I'm talking.
All right.
Go for it, Tuba. You could go for it. Okay, well, anyways, yeah, John Ramirez, he basically just says, and you could read it there if you want. I'm already pretty beat. He operates on behalf of Pentagon stakeholders with the most to lose from disclosure. Let me play this last thing too. Let's close with some Anjali, because I feel like it all blends together. What she was told. Friend of the show. Let me just pull this up. Bum, bum, bum. I'm also doing this in a garage right now, guys, without my fan on, so you guys could hear. So appreciate that. Respect the game. All right, let's see.
Figure out the right way to say this. Okay. I'm just going to say it. There is to my knowledge, which I find this source very credible, and it was said to me only in person, and no one else was around, and this is what it was. That there is what I'm assuming is a counterterrorism or counterintel operation going on that is attempting in the United States to wrap up all fringe and fringe and further extreme, as they call it, beliefs and activities, and to associate them all in such a way as to be able to call them enemies of the state, essentially. Okay, and then we fall under some type of homeland domestic terrorism provision that allows for this to happen. Okay, and before you
just to ground what you just said into some reality for the group here, right? For all the listeners.
I thought that was very reality based. I even gave you historical references.
It's incredibly reality based, but I want people to know that I believe this is happening, and I believe it's happening right here every day on UFO Twitter. Okay?
Absolutely.
And look no further than the statements that Lue Elizondo made, all right, on the podcast that's now famous, that clip that you should never be able to unhear, which is that Lue Elizondo said, and I've memorized this, not by choice, just by repetition, right? He says,
left the Department of Defense, ironically enough, to finish the very mission they gave me in the first place. I didn't ask for it. I'm not a UFO guy, not a ufologist. I never have been, I never will be. I'm a counterterrorism and counterespionage guy. I just do counterintelligence, counterinsurgencies. That's what I do. And it just so happens that in 2008, I was asked to apply those same skill sets into the UFO community.
I'm not a UFO guy. I'm not a ufologist. I never have been. I never will be. I'm a counter-intel guy, counterterrorism, counterinsurgencies. That's who I am. That's what I do. And it just so happens that in 2007, I was asked to apply that skill set into the UFO community.
There it is. There it is. And I want you to know that I have noticed a pattern of accounts that have been made in 2007, 2008, and 2009 who have very little followers, changed their names, scrub the account, and then come and attack experiencers and people in this community, essentially. And they're often made from those 3 years, 2007, 2008, 2009. Yet they have very little
I never thought about that. Red, have you ever thought about that? A lot of these accounts that have pop up and are suddenly occupied, the zombie accounts that get reanimated, they're from the time that Lue says he was asked to apply his skill set.
Amen, brother. That's what I'm telling you. Who brought it into the public sphere? Who was the first one that went on the news and the mainstream media picked it up?
Elizondo.
That's right.
Elizondo.
This is how that loop goes. Okay.
So what do you think, Tuba? That's about it for the show, man. Are you there now? Can you hear us? If not, he's in the chat. Comment what you think.
Dude,
what did we stumble into, brother?
We really did stumble into this. Like I had no idea this thing was going on. Right? This is
I'm just gonna have fun and make UFO documentaries and have a great old time.
That's literally what I sounded like. That's stupid. Year one, dude. Year one. It's all fun. I love everyone, dude. Let's just be friends. Why are you attacking John Greenwald? What is this? I got a website made about me? Oh shit. That's the situation. We stumbled upon this because these individuals wanted to remove us from the topic. We accidentally critiqued the wrong person, did the wrong thing, but little did people know we had just got started. We had no intention of letting something like this stop us from getting answers like aliens and disclosure and stuff. But then
What about the people who held up Lue while you did all this horrible shit to people?
I remember
with this
every
knowledge?
single one of them. I remember every single one of them. and
Everyone who called it drama, I remember too. Bro.
I remember
It's-
every time it cut so deep when people were falling for it, dude. There's a problem here. I've been saying it. It's as simple as this. Like, this is a civilian community full of very open-minded people who have a fox in the henhouse, military grade, counter intel, insurgency, counterterrorism tactics being utilized against civilians here. It's 100% illegal. There might be loopholes here and there, but I promise you, there's enough people that this is damaged, from Kirkpatrick to Nadia Drake, right, to more. I mean, we're not shutting up about it. At the time they started attacking me, I mean, dude, I think I had like 7,000 followers. I think, you know what I mean? And it was, I don't know what was going on. It was very bizarre. We went through so much ups and downs here, and we were always flying blind, you know what I mean? And also having to fight with one hand tied behind our back. We didn't know what was going on. So many people in the community were covering for Lue. So many plants, but also so many just followers, individuals who didn't know better but had
Good
faith
people.
in him. They had faith in him. They had faith in the fact, oh, like, you know, let's just judge the numbers. If I'm just looking at it, looks like Lue's right and these guys are wrong. It looks like King Milkfart's making a little bit of sense here. You know, we tried to tell everyone, listen, that's not, something's not right. That it's not mathing out, right? And the fact people need to come to terms. There's two options here, in my opinion. You have two options. You have Lue Elizondo was doing all of the things we just covered. He's guilty of everything, but he was doing it on behalf of some government situation, in which case he might get away with what was going on and what was happening. He might get away with it and might do it again later on. Who knows? Is he the Oliver North of ufology? Probably. But was he asked to do it? Or the other option, he's doing all this stuff, so just as guilty, but he took it upon himself to run these ops. He did
hit up all the old CIFA boys.
Yes, or at least the CIFA tactics, right? Create a shell company, get some money in there, keep money flowing in, pay off the guys who are out there doing the field work, right? Create a network of influence, make sure that you control the topic, but you're just kind of like doing it as a freelancer, a rogue agent. You're just
What does your gut tell you now after everything we've looked at with this dude?
If I have to pick between those two options,
Any of them, yeah. Why is he doing what he's doing?
well, he's definitely doing what he's doing because that's his training. He's like, okay, but I think if I have to guess, I think he's doing this on his own. I don't think he has a government backing on this. I think I think this is off the books. That's my gut is telling me that. I'm sure I'm open to
like
more.
I said, I was there for a bit and I bounce around all the time too. But these days with the CIFA shit, I'm kind of leaning towards what I'd said at the beginning of just getting the means, but laundering it through the UFO community crazies instead of I'm a guy with a Lockheed Martin contracted brand on my sleeve, controlling this narrative.
I can see. I mean, maybe, but dude,
I mean, CIFA. I mean, those names. I didn't come up with those names.
Let's go.
Lockheed, Northrop, Halliburton.
Those are reasons to say it's not right. It's not a rogue agent, but I'll give you the reasons why I think it could be. I think number one for me that stands out is the people he has hired. His little support group they're crazy. They're not vetted. They're loose-lipped. They don't seem well balanced. They don't seem well controlled. You know what I mean? They tell on themselves constantly. They let shit slip. They're so prideful. They're egotistical. It's almost as if they are excited because it's their first op. So they don't seem like they're well trained, well experienced, well vetted. They seem like people that Lue Elizondo was able to kind of convince. That's why I think number one, more that stands out to me, that this is a homegrown op. All of the experience leading up to it tells me that he could have actually he's re-executing his own training, but just at a level where he's the boss instead of the person who has to do the middleman stuff. When he's doing this stuff online, he's the boss. He's the director, right? But when he was doing the stuff for CIFA, he was just a middle guy. He had to go do these things. But now he's going to take all of that experience and then apply it himself to this stuff in order to secure people's bags for them. Maybe some of these congressmen and women, maybe he had connections, right? But he said he left the DOD and to apply the skill set. But by who? Who asked him to do it? He doesn't clarify if it was a government person who asked him or if it was a private company, like let's say NIDS, or let's say Earth Tech, or let's say Gaia.
What from any of the CIFA stuff we've talked about could be other than what he's doing, right?
Exactly.
It's not like, oh, CIFA also had this great thing where they were looking into optical lenses and seeing what the best lens, you know what I mean? Like, it was either they were bribing motherfuckers and trapping them with hookers, or they were over surveilling Quakers. And like,
yes. I think about all the things he's told people to start companies because maybe he'll flood money in their account.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and this knowledge of him, like, why go to Allie Clark and be like, I know that you had Jeff Bezos on your thing, and let me feed into this kind of, I think, is a delusion. Not against her, like it's being done on her purpose, but this delusion that like you're a time traveler, there's time travelers or cloning, and watch this movie Meet Joe Black. That's, to me, seems unnecessary. For
That was meant to destabilize her. Why would he feed into?
It's like
her
he's going out of his
delusion?
way to destabilize
Yes,
all these
yeah,
people.
yeah.
I feel like if you
Yeah.
were doing the
Well, think about
homegrown
the
thing,
photos.
let's
Think about the
keep it as in-house as possible. Let's keep as many loose ends as possible. It seems like he's trying to make loose ends. He's trying to make, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know. Oh, all right, man. Well, that was a long time. Fuck, 3 hours though. I mean, pretty solid. Pretty cool.
Worth it. This is wow. I'm also burning up in a garage because I mean, dude, this is.
Oh, you're burning up in a garage too. Oh,
dude,
that's
West
what. Yeah,
Coast-
we're both. Yeah,
the West
dude.
Coast. I was surprised my computer has lasted this long out here, dude. Like this is
That
crazy.
green thing too earlier. I'd never seen. What part was that for?
Dude, you know who we got to get, dude? We got to get the heavy hitters to come in on this, dude. We need Gerb. We need Green Street. We need Greenwald. You know what I mean? We need to start talking about this because this is gonna lend so much, I think, help and.
I think it's already
credence.
out. We've already won, but yeah, it should be good to get everyone talking right
Well,
now. But
I mean, when people read about this era, this is new information. Like it was all skeptical. People even, were like able to be like, oh, I don't believe you. You guys are crazy. This is nuts. But with this added information and with the fact that it was basically pre-vetted by very good researchers and most, recently UAP Gerb, who's being a celebrated researcher, who's saying people need to look into this specifically. They need to FOIA that what he was doing there. Guys, I think if you want to see like that Spaces or that stream, dude, hit these guys up. We need Greenwald, we need Green Street, people to come in and share what they know, what they've been able to find. And also,
yeah, and I was like, well, yeah, can you share something? He said, I don't like the way you approach this. Like, well, bro, I think I've actually approached it amazingly. First off,
well, dude, it's not like we were sitting in a newsroom because we're very seasoned journalists, and it's like, oh, this story came across our desk, and now we have to apply our same journalistic. Dude, we literally are victims of this group, and in order to fight it, we had to document it, understand it, learn about it, and every time we thought it was just a group of people who were trolling it, we got a little bigger, and then now we're over here investigating people's time at, you know what I mean, notorious government agencies that were shut down and shamed because they were bribing congressmen and the director of the CIA, which when you loop it back the way you did to the fact that the Hayden Center liked your post, and these posts, that's early on. Like the idea of
that was when no one was fucking
harassment,
dude, in 2023.
No one was watching that. But then the fact that he liked that account's post and then it was about what it was about. We're over here like literally exposing the harassment of David Grush, the harassment of Nadia Drake and NASA, the harassment of Sean Kirkpatrick, a well-liked government dude, you know what I mean, who was director of Arrow. Like I mean, this is kind of wild. And I'm telling you, Congress is very much interested in hearing this side of the story. That's a fact. Not only was Burleson in the Spaces talking to us which we've been a one, you know what I mean, thing for a while. We can't separate ourselves from the discussion of this hate group and of Elizondo's activities. So they're paying attention. Congress is paying attention. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more, maybe, you know, people talk about how deceptive these things have been. You know, like you played the clip of Eric Weinstein, kind of like talking about how he was kind of whipped up by these guys. I posted a comment about something like that, and then his brother, Brett Weinstein, hit me up in the DM and was like, what do you know about this group? And what do you mean? Like, you know, like what's going on? Because he was concerned. He sounded like a concerned brother. So I tell Brett, I go, look, this is the situation. Like there's a group in here that are like the UAP guys, and they've been kind of whipping people up, and they're doing a bunch of weird. I explained it very well. And especially in relation to this US aid stuff and counterterrorism, like how these people are being grouped up. And then the next day, I had no idea this was going to happen. The next 2 days later, he's on Joe Rogan, and he brings up USAID. He brings up the drone wave, about how like he brought all that shit up, dude. And so these guys are listening. They're paying attention, even if they're not popping in as speakers, even if they're not, you know what I mean, engaging in the tweets, they're listening. They care about what we're saying as a community. And I think this is one of those things that needs to be outed, because it affected academia, it affected Congress, it affected national security, and it's affecting obviously our community here. That's a pretty big span. That's huge.
No, I think they're fucked, bro. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but like, how else can I look at it as they try to like launder us to get murdered, bro? They would have been happy, I think, if no one was trying to de-escalate that situation. Whoever was in those back channels with Eric and Doty after the Lue thing was not trying to de-escalate it, even to when it got to like a motherfucker like saying, I'm gonna go kill those guys. And I'm looking up the laws. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. They'll go as far as they need to go. They use people. They whip people up. They take advantage of at-risk individuals, people who have trauma, head injury, people who are very culty, right? They have like appeal to authority. Like they're using those people. Look at Rob Heatherly. Look at the behavior of Thomas Fessler. Just look at the behavior, the etiquette, the candor of the people who insulate Lue. They're not great. It's not great optics. You know what I mean? That's why I think
the Joker, bro. Like it's like you into insaneness. Like his henchmen are all like literally mentally disturbed people who probably need a therapist, not a counterintel dude whipping them up and putting them on weirdo little missions and back channels. Bro.
How many of them are drug addicts who are accusing everyone else of being a drug addict,
or literally have brain tumor? Like he knows
brain tumors, traumatic brain injuries. Very serious things, dude. Bipolar disorder. You know what I mean? These are injured, hurt people who need actual leadership and friendship, but Lue and crew appear to be able to take advantage of them and whip them up. We've literally seen them whip up people. I saw them weaponize a Big Homie. They were trying to, they'll do anything they can. The Darren Big Homie weaponization is one of the most egregious, blatant versions of this thing. And it's international. Darren's in Canada. You know what I mean? These guys are all over the map. All over the map. I got a home visit. Remember my home visit? That was weird.
You just had another one, bro. You just had another one.
Oh yeah, I imagine there'll be a lot of them, dude. I imagine there are a lot of them. Like it's affected the way I operate. I don't go to conventions. You know what I mean? I don't want people to know where I'm at.
These people are willing to blackmail and entrap congressmen. You know what I mean? They're willing shell companies for millions of dollars of taxpayer. Like it's just another breed, bro. Like yes. I'm staying strapped, bro. Until and actually, this might be good to close out. Like. At first, it was kind of a little bit of a pipe dream, but I really think that this shit, dude, if anyone should be scared about this shit, it should be the CIFA gangstalker who's doing it again. You know what I mean?
You know, the American people's trust in the intelligence community has been eroded and undermined really for decades. There have been intelligence failures, abuses of power, weaponization and politicization of the intelligence that the community provides. Our team that is made up of some of the most talented intelligence officers across the community who love our country and who have been so disgusted and betrayed by leaders who have weaponized it to serve their own political or personal interests. The more we dig, the more we find. It is disheartening to see these things, but it also provides us the opportunity to tell the American people the truth about what's been going on so that we can make sure we try to bring about an end to it. There are some U.S. attorneys who are eager to see what we are finding, and in some cases are already working their own cases to bring about that necessary accountability. If no one is ever held accountable, we're going to continue to see this weaponization, politicization of the intelligence community.
Now, Tulsi Gabbard announced a new intelligence community task force with the goal of restoring transparency. She told Fox News that the task force wants to, quote, rebuild trust in the intelligence community.
Oh, all right, man. Let's close it out. Hop into chill down space.
Yeah, like a
any other
pool,
closing
bro.
thoughts?
Great that you put this together. I appreciate that. Thank you guys all for dropping in those super
Yeah, and I
chats
agree. Cover
shit.
the Epstein files, but honestly, something's holding that up. I totally disagree with that being held up. But perfect timing to bag a motherfucker like Lue, right? For them.
They're gonna need to do something about this guy, dude. This is I think that the potential to collapse whatever they're trying to get an amnesty for and instead draw attention to it, I think is actually on the table. If the effort was, you know what I mean? If the effort was paid to allow them to get away with these crimes, I hope that instead attention is paid to the crimes. These people
I
are
really think we might
prosecuted
get
for
fucking
them.
psyop reparations, bro. Also, Anjali, thank you so much to Anjali, all these different people who come together. Also, Anjali, I told you this in space, but you definitely got targeted by this group. We didn't get to go into it too detail for yours because we're trying to move things along here. But you didn't let it make you become bitter. You're still very nice to people, very sweet to
Super
people.
sweet, beautiful Anjali, for real. Like,
Yeah.
I met Anjali in New York at the only UFO event I've ever been to. I got psyops. No, I'm playing. It was good. It was a good time. I think it's great the fact that there are people here who went through this and are not bitter and are not trying to do, you know what I mean, tear stuff down. It's a beautiful thing, especially when you got the contrast of it in the mix of people who are so bitter and either just straight up left or are still in the mix trying to debunk and discredit everything and hurt other people because they were hurt. So it's a hard thing to go through and still have like your wits about you. But hopefully by bringing attention to this stuff, we slow it down. It has absolutely slowed down. So that theory it stands. And maybe the more people who talk about it and share it, the easier it will be.
I think
for
they're already done,
people
bro.
to recognize
Something's
this
up.
stuff.
Something's cooking in the back channels right now. I think everyone could feel it. Especially it's popping his head up. It's subpoenaed now. Grush is subpoenaing you, Lou. Like what? Okay, but yeah. All right, man. I'll see you in space, dude. Thank you for being here.
Peace, man.
Peace. Woo! See you.